before we start talking about more interesting, well, let's hit go before all these banger opinions that we're now spitting go to waste, you know.
Absolutely.
Hello, everyone.
I have an audience, and therefore my opinion matters.
Yeah, but also we have a really bad habit of just suddenly starting to have really what I think are very interesting conversations before we go live, and it's like, isn't this why we started a podcast? Because we were like, hey, this is a cool discussion, we should record this, you know.
It's fine, we just have so many of them. Our opinions are so worthy.
Deep discussions. I'm reminded of, and hello everyone, I'm just going to finish this thought because this is just how the show is starting now. A YouTuber I like a lot, Dan Olsen, Folding Ideas, whom people might know as the guy who did that video called Line Goes Up, the problem with NFTs. He did a video about the metaverse and Decentraland. And the two guys that created Decentraland, their deep lore is that they spent a lot of time at a hacker house called Casa Voltaire, which was actually just it was just a communal tech bro house where small tech bro startups could share resources and stuff like that.
Sensible.
Fair enough. However, it has become mythologized as this underground hacker house where all the hardcore hackers come from, and the deep lore cites the deep conversations that they have there, such as, you know, if a self-driving car is involved in an accident, whose fault is it, and stuff like that. To which Dan Olsen then points out, it's just like, so a high school starter course in ethics. One of those is literally the trolley problem. You know, so it's just like, this isn't that deep.
No, absolutely. But in answer to your question, if you're in the UK and you're insured with AXA. If you have a self-driving car and it crashes, who is it for? AXA will accept all liability irrespective of need.
I see.
They wrote that a few years ago, just saying that they will accept the liability without evidence of liability, which I thought was a very dangerous statement for them to make.
Yeah.
But it was also a case of they wanted people to start insuring those projects with them and said, we'll just accept liability carte blanche. I was like, okay. Maybe they're running that as a loss leader because they're gambling. I mean, that is AXA's business model, loss leaders.
You know, like, if, you know,
they turned profit once.
They're positioning themselves as the go-to people for cars of the future. But, yeah, interesting. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Two Guys Talk Tech. It's the 27th of April, 2024. I nearly said 2004 then, and I'm just like, the 90s were last decade. The 90s were last decade. The 90s were... So, yeah.
So I'm really looking forward to that Xbox 360 launch.
I see.
Don't think about the fact that the Xbox 360 is 18 years old.
Oh, it can vote. Yeah, no, I'm not going to start doing it. I had one of those customer interactions where the customer just sort of greatly the conversation went in the direction where I was required to say, I've been doing this for 15 years, as in, please don't question me, you know. You are the customer, I'm the guy who's been running a computer shop for 15 years. No, actually, I do know better than you, kind of thing. And he's just sort of like, oh, you must have been doing this since school. I'm like, I'm 37, don't patronize me. Do you want me to fix your laptop or not, you know? I've had a week.
I do enjoy the comment from certain sectors referring to millennials as children, and then forgetting the fact that some millennials are 40.
Yeah, yeah.
And then the youngest millennials are 27, sort of thing.
Yeah.
It's like,
that's it. We're not kids, and like, call me having a complex for being offended when I'm treated as being immature, kind of thing. But it's just one thing that really grinds my gears is when customers treat me as one of those bright young kids who's in with the computers, and it's like, no, this is a professional trade. Please treat me seriously, you know.
Oh,
but
tangent. But did you know you could become an engineer legitimately, correctly, with certificate and all?
okay,
Because the British Computing, whatever it is, foundation thing, if you've got 5 years of continuous experience in the field of IT, you can apply for various things through them. And one of them ultimately leads up to you getting a thing of engineering in computers via them.
interesting.
So you can become an engineer.
Yeah.
So you can really annoy your sister. Be like, well, actually...
So, backstory, my sister is a civil engineer, and she's one of these people where it's just like, no, you don't get to call yourself an engineer unless you're actually an engineer, you know. And I'm actually with her on this.
Oh, no, I don't disagree.
Yeah,
But
you know, just because you can fix a computer, no, that makes you a technician. That doesn't make you an engineer, you know. And I'm kind of in two minds of that, because like the closest field of engineering that I associate myself with would be electronics engineering. But to that extent, I would say, while to a certain extent I might practice electronics engineering now and then, I wouldn't say that I'm an electronics engineer because I have no formal training in it. And there are massive gaps in my knowledge. And in my opinion, if you want to call yourself an engineer, you need to be designing these electronic circuits, not just understanding how to repair them, kind of thing. You know, I think the bar is a lot higher than most people would consider. But that much being said, if you said, okay, well, computer repair is engineering, and the reason why we don't want to self-assign ourselves as engineers is that there needs to be some kind of bar where you have proven that you have a level of knowledge. But also, as we know, not years of experience and years of knowledge doesn't necessarily mean you're actually any good at what you do. So that's, yeah.
yeah, I just thought it was interesting.
Yeah.
Council? I want to say it's like the British Computing Council or something like
Yeah.
that. And you can, end up with that.
Yeah. At the same time, part of me kind of is like, it would be nice to have some kind of actual accreditation. Accreditation, yes. Accreditation to recognize my expertise, because, you know, I don't have any meaningful certification in anything relevant, you know. My highest certification is an AVCE in ICT, which is the equivalent of 2.5 A-levels, which is bugger all for people who don't know what A-levels are. So it would be nice to have something, but on the other hand, also, I don't believe that that's necessary nor proves anything. So I don't know. But then on the other hand, it's also worth keeping in mind that this might not be what I do forever, you know.
Yeah.
But then on the other hand, if I switch to something else, it would probably be because I got headhunted by someone who specifically said, I want you. And that kind of instance, they wouldn't care what my actual credentials are.
Yeah.
They have specifically sought me out because they have already seen existing work. So
yeah, and it's one of those
what does it matter?
circumstances where there's an HR tick box. They just put you on a 6-month internal training plan and say you will be doing this, 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 and this. You must pass this in 3 weeks' time because we already know you can already do all of it, but we need the bits of paper.
Yeah. Right, I'm going to quickly back read chat because I've been ignoring chat because we've been waffling already. So yeah, let's see. Caradog sounds vaguely normal is a surprise. It sounds like you're trying really hard to not sound sick. I take it you've been sick.
You knew I went to London. I went to London and I got
on a plane to Monte Carlo.
and I did the corporate meeting things.
Did you get con crud? Or did you just talk a lot?
No, I did the corporate meeting things where you have a meal, you have a sit-down meal, and there's wine with the meal, and you have a glass, and the glass never gets empty. The glass is never empty. There are invisible people floating around just kind of going, wine, wine.
So you've been hungover for a week.
So yes, I've spent 2 days quietly going, I could be sick.
Not as young as I used to be. Okay, I'm going with that explanation. You've been hungover for a week.
So it's just kind of a case of basically that.
Let's see. Okay, the white PC looks nice. I will explain these soon, everyone. But yeah, we're tinkering with PCs today. And yes, this is a Lian Cool 2. This is a Corsair 275R Airflow, to be precise. Let's see. Fireman says, Caradog, did you hear about the? Did you ever use local? Did you ever use local EK water blocks? I'm guessing this just means, do you use EK water blocks, and what's the deal with EK? Do you have any opinions on EK? The situation with that? I don't really
I mean, I have an opinion on it.
Yeah, I don't really have anything to add to the discussion. Although it's worth noting that the response that the new CEO, the original founder CEO man, who's been in charge since February, they have actually made a response saying we're really sorry this has happened and we're working on it, and that sounds like a good start. However, I'll be impressed when there is visible change that comes of it. Otherwise, they sound like a company that is in a death spiral at the moment.
As someone who doesn't do manufacturing, so has no experience, but as someone who is a consumer of more boutique things, even, it feels like they have too many products, too many SKUs, and therefore have too much stock of low volume items and don't have sufficient margin on each item. But they can't get enough margin because to have enough margin makes it untenable as a product. So it's kind of a case of they're in that awkward situation.
Their core issue is that because they don't manufacture their own stuff, they have to order 10,000 of each SKU, and they've got about 10,000 SKUs, so they have warehouses full of product that they can't shift.
Yeah.
Whereas everyone else is doing their own manufacturing, so they can do small production runs. Which makes it economically viable.
Yeah.
That seems to be the core issue. And by the looks of things, I'm like, if we assumed that they solved all of their PR problems, because there's a twofold problem. They've got a massive PR problem, and they have a massive cash flow issue because they are basically insolvent because all of their money is in stock that they can't sell.
And I think,
so even if they solve the PR problem, I don't see a solution to their stock problem without them switching to in-house manufacturing, which would be an enormous paradigm shift for the company.
Yeah, and also I think that they have been undone because of how much lower the power target for NVIDIA cards was this generation compared to what NVIDIA said they were going to be, and how much lower they were hinted to be. Just because obviously we've seen the pre-release BIOSes from EVGA and things like that for the 4090, where it was a starting power target of 600 watts, unlockable to like 900 watts or 1,000 watts or something.
So do you think they've spent too much money over-speccing their current line?
Not specifically. I don't think EK has, but I think that obviously because all of the air coolers were built for 600 watt cards, and they've now got 350 watt cards, 400 watt cards, no one's bothering to water block them.
Yes.
Because I could water block and save 5 degrees and spend £200.
Yes.
Or I could leave the air cooler on there.
Case in point, my 4080 has a huge air cooler on it and barely gets above a whisper at full tilt because its air cooler is spec'd for like 600 watts, yet it wants to burn like 400. So unless I wanted to make the card half the size, which would be the advantage of water cooling it, I don't need to. So yeah.
And I think it's a little bit of that has also undone them slightly. It's just the fact of obviously there's been way less sales there. But from what I understand, EK does an awful lot in the sort of water-cooled servers and like workstation space.
Yes.
So it's a case of like water-cooled AI cards and stuff is probably a reasonably good cash flow.
Yeah.
them, because obviously it allows you to have massive density.
Yeah.
Because if you're doing it at scale, but not hyperscaler scale, I would imagine you might take a workstation type board with 8 slots, stick 8 cards in it, water cool them, because they're now single slot cards. And that's obviously 8 times £200 for a water block or something like that.
Yeah.
Whereas to a consumer, you're selling one every 4-5 years. But
Yeah.
for the AI cards, you might have sold 8 in 2 years to the same company.
Yeah.
Because they had to replace their AI cards because AI cards doubled in performance in 2 years.
Yes.
So it's like, we started working on this computation last year and it was going to take 4 years. We've now bought new cards and restarted the computation this year and it's going to finish earlier. Oh,
I see.
you know.
Yeah, yeah. As chat points out, a lot of their application is currently industrial use, but to be honest, I would wager that's the only reason they haven't actually gone bust yet.
Yeah.
Because even though they're doing a lot in the commercial sector, they still have warehouses of product that they can't sell, and they have So I'm not sure if they're going to fall over and die, but they definitely need to have a massive. They need a paradigm shift in how their consumer division works.
Yeah, and it's also just a case of I don't know why I buy any of their products.
Yeah, well,
as a
their products
consumer.
need to stop being bad because they're not competitive at the moment either.
Yeah, and like the only thing they have that, assuming it's still as good as it was, is the mounting hardware. Because the mounting hardware, 'cause, you know, we've got that EK block for AM4. That one, the mounting hardware is excellent. It's very nice, very simple, feels nice, feels sturdy without being massively heavy.
Yeah, that must
So
be
it's a case of just that part of it. They did that really well.
Yeah.
So if they just continue doing that wider and make their products not £400 for a monoblock when for a CPU block, when I can buy functionally the same performance CPU block off of AliExpress for 70 quid.
Yeah.
It's, you know, it's that case of the nicer fittings and the slightly nicer look of it. I'd pay €110 for it to look nicer and have that mountings. I'd pay €115 for that by comparison to getting the same thing for €70 off of AliExpress.
Yeah.
I'd pay that price difference.
And people will pay for
I'm
the
not
brand as well.
Paying €300 for that though.
Yeah.
But that's what EK want me to pay.
Yeah. I'll pay a premium for a pimp brand, and EK is a pimp brand. It looks cool to have EK logos in your computer. But I'm not paying €300 for an EK logo in my computer.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. Well, that's that.
So yeah.
Yeah. And also, again, regarding the PR stuff and how they've been screwing over, other YouTubers and stuff like that. And yeah, Steve was pretty pissed off as well. And yeah, that's sucky. The way they've acted there, and also just the way the allegations and the issues between the Slovenian head office and the US division. This all sounds very sucky as well.
Yeah.
But also, this is PR issues. That's management. That is something that can be fixed by people coming together and working it out. You know, this is something that they could solve overnight by everyone coming together and people just saying, look, stop being a dick, okay, you know.
Yeah.
Whereas the actual economic issues that the company is facing with not being able to sell products and stuff like that, that's much harder to fix, which I think is why I think that's the more interesting part of the conversation. Certainly, it's not to write off the issues that people are having. Obviously, people have got to get paid. People need to stop being treated poorly and stuff like that. But that's an attitude can be fixed overnight if people actually try. But yeah, fixing actual cash flow issues and company economics and is this company actually sustainable? That's a bit trickier. So I think that's where the real test of this is going to come in.
It's also a case of just from what's kind of surfaced after the initial initial 2 videos being Jay's and Gamers Nexus.
Yeah.
There seems to have been lots of reports and comments and so on about grossly inappropriate behaviour from EK staff towards other members of staff and to other members of the industry.
Yeah.
A lot of racism, sexism, sexual assault, things like that. And it's like, if that is happening and is as pervasive as is inferred, that's not fixable.
that's going to require a complete clean of house, isn't
because
it?
because all of the people involved are arguably not employable people.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if it's
I had heard wind of that part of it, but I haven't
Yeah.
watched any videos that cover that section of it. Like Gamers Nexus talked about the Slovenian office treating the American division like crap and stuff like that. But that only went so far as they don't like us and they treat us like an unwanted stepson kind of thing. However, I'd heard rumors of more serious allegations, but I haven't watched any videos about that section, so I don't know how bad that actually is. But if it's as bad as it would be made out to be, then like you said, that's you're right. That's not something that could be fixed overnight. That would be a case of everyone involved needs to be fired and they need a new set of stuff. And hopefully, the founder guy who has been away from the company, hopefully he has enough integrity that we can assume that at least he's okay. But yeah, either way,
we don't know.
Time will tell.
We will find out more in time, and it's a case that beyond that, to a degree, the speculation doesn't help or hinder, but it's just a case of it is pure speculation.
Yeah.
So don't expect useful answers to come out of it, I guess is kind of just my comment on that.
I have nothing constructive to add other than just my opinions of it looks like these parts is the issue with the company kind of thing. But yeah. Fair enough. Anyway, that's EK. JD says, I will pay additional money not to have an EK logo in my build. Yeah, you've hated EK for as long as I've known you though, JD. But yeah. If we assume...
Imagine JD having money to pay for things.
Oof. Zing. If we assumed that EK products were performance competitive, I think EK is a cool brand. As we have seen, a lot of their current gen products are ludicrously expensive and not as good as something like Alpha Cool. And so at that point, no, I would not pay extra for that. But if we assumed that they had performance parity, they look good. And a lot of people who are building a boutique PC with boutique water cooling, and let's face it, in a lot of cases, the only real reason to water cool is because it looks sick. There's not a lot of instances where you're actually doing it for performance. So you're damn right you want something that looks cool and has a pimp brand on it. That's the point,
I think my issue is that it's obviously it's a very fine line to walk between kind of looking cool and being shiny and just looking chintzy.
Yeah.
And I feel like everything for the past 4 years has fallen solidly in the looks a bit chintzy.
Yeah.
Looks like cheap products trying to look fancy to cover up poor productness. Kind of thing.
I think a lot of this gets extremely subjective, of course. But certainly there are a lot of products that I see where some things I look at and I think that looks cool, and some products I look at and I'm like, not for me, Chief. Like the other day in the Discord, someone posted a link to Heights all-in-one water cooler that's got the huge portrait screen on the front of it, and I was like, I don't like it, And
I like it.
Well,
half and half.
Yeah.
But also, I'm just like, I don't see a point.
Yeah.
I see that they've made it look quite nice for what it is, but ultimately, it's still what it is. It's something where I'm just like, why?
Yeah. See, I've got an NZXT Kraken Z cooler that has the round screen on the thing, and that doesn't make the pump head any bigger. It's just the pump head has a screen on it, and I've got mine set up to show CPU and GPU temps, which is handy. I can at a glance see that. It looks cool in the case. It has some functionality because I can see at a glance what it's running at sometimes, it's not, it's one of those at a glance heads up things, but it's mostly for looking good. But something where you've actually got this big screen that is mounted on top of it and sticks out and is not a natural shape for it and has a big bezel around the edge of it. I think that looks chintzy personally. But again, this is subjective, each to their own.
Yeah.
So
I think, if that makes sense, I think they've done a good job of making the product look decent quality and well made, but it's also at the same time, to me, it looks like something I'm just like, or you could have taken out all of this stuff, saved thousands of pounds in development, and ended up with arguably exactly the same product.
Yeah.
And then gone, here's a 10-inch HDMI screen.
Yeah. I do also
Put
want
this on your
to
desk.
reward brands that are really running efficient products. Like if my Kraken broke tomorrow and I needed a new CPU cooler for my PC, I would buy a Liquid Freezer 3 in a heartbeat. Which doesn't have any screen on it or anything like that. So I would be losing a feature to that extent. But it's so high performance, it still looks really slick, and it's so good value for money that I'm like, I want to buy one of these to reward them for making what I think is an amazing product. I want to support this product. I just don't need it. But I'm kind of looking forward to shifting these PCs because I want to build PCs in the shop with Liquid Freezer 3s in them. Because I'm like, this is great, and I want Arctic to succeed because they're making amazing products at amazing prices.
Yeah, it's like they're P12 and P14 Max fans.
Yeah.
They are reasonably high performance fans, and they're like 10 currency a go, whereas the next price tier up for high performance fans starts at like 20 currency a fan. And it's just like, it's impressive, cost optimization throughout the chain to make a decent quality product that performs and keep the price low.
Yeah. DNA Electronics said, how much resources clock cycles does a LCD in the computer use? Lots of code for these things are often horribly inefficient. Very valid point. I find it depends on what software you're running, and it depends on how much you're getting out of that. I find the trick to these things is they work best when you have an ecosystem running. I think, for example, if you had a big software suite just to put a temperature on a display, you're probably going to find that that's not very efficient. It's not going to have a meaningful footprint on a high-performance gaming PC, but for what it's actually doing, it's probably pretty inefficient. But on the other hand, in the case of, for example, my PC at home, I'm using NZXT Cam, which is a big software suite for computer monitoring, but that is handling all of my RGB lighting. It's handling the display on the cooler. It's handling fan control and thermal management. So because it's doing all of those things, in the PC, I think its footprint on Windows is worthwhile because it's doing an awful lot of system management for me. And it does it in what I think is quite a nice package. By comparison, I've got Corsair RGB RAM, which theoretically would require me to run the entire iQ suite just for the LEDs on my RAM modules. That is not efficient, and that's why I have hardware lighting on the RGB RAM, and iQ does not run in the background on my PC. So it depends on what you're doing. However, also some programs are wretchedly inefficient. My first and only experience with Signal RGB is that it burns clock cycles like it's going out of fashion. I ran up Signal RGB on one of the demo PCs at one point and set it up with animated RGB, and I think it was sitting the CPU at a constant 5 or 10% load, just flat, to run the RGB, and I'm like, no, that's not okay. On my PC, having cam just doing 1% here or there, that's fine. That's background noise, But a flat 5 to 10% CPU load just to run RGB, that's obscene. And I was like, nope, uninstalling that nonsense straight away,
Yeah.
So yeah. Use OpenRGB instead. Yes, this is why I use OpenRGB as well, because it doesn't need to run in the background. So yeah.
It's fine. You fixed the problem with RGB by removing the RGB.
Yeah, and as the people in the chat who are also going, I turned all of that stuff off. If you don't like it, you can turn it off. That's fine. I've got no beef with people who don't want RGB.
I just wish it was easier to turn it off and didn't require me to install software.
Yeah, agreed.
Because
as
an idea, just it being able to be turned off permanently, should be a thing.
I think Corsair have a pretty good balance on this because nearly pretty much all of Corsair's RGB products have the hardware lighting, which is a simplified profile saved on device. So you can just save on device the profile of off, and it will just stay off until it's told otherwise.
But also, I feel like that's slightly missing the point because the only reason you'd buy a Corsair product is the RGB.
This is true.
Over some competing product.
Motherboards
Motherboards
with built-in RGB, they should always have an option in the BIOS to turn it off, and a lot of them do, but not all of them do.
Yeah, the only thing you'd buy Corsair for over someone else if you didn't want the RGB, to me, is power supplies.
Yeah, I'd agree with that because pretty much all of their other products. I mean, they've got good value RAM, like that DDR5 there that I bought for this stuff.
But this isn't an RGB product.
Yeah.
So I meant an RGB Corsair product.
I see. Yeah.
Over a non-RGB someone else's product.
Oh yes, of course.
And you're going, I want the RGB-ness.
Yes.
You'd obviously very much buy the Corsair one.
Yeah. If you don't like RGB, why are you buying RGB RAM?
Yeah,
I get it. Yeah.
I was just thinking, like, are there any situations where having the RGB is an unfortunate sidestep, but you're actually buying a better product? The only one I could think of is if Corsair started adding RGB to their power supplies.
Yeah.
Because their power supplies are good. So yeah.
Steve Higgins says, you're free to not have RGB, just like you're free to be dead inside. There we go. You're entirely boring and you have no soul.
Yes.
Very well. All right.
It's okay. I look at my monitor for, colours.
I put my PC on the ground. It doesn't need to be. It doesn't need to be on my bench.
Yeah.
Yep. Each to their own. Each to their own. Yep. I have a fascination with things that light up. I always have done. That's why I like PCs that light up with colourful colours, so I can put it on my desk and be like, it lights up colourful. That makes my brain go brr.
But isn't that, what monitors do?
So we've got PCs to build today. I don't want to talk about this anymore.
55-inch OLEDs. That's
Buy
what
a
everyone
lamp,
needs.
says Firephone.
Everyone needs 55-inch OLEDs in their life.
Yeah. Would you buy another 55-inch OLED?
No.
I'd buy a 60-inch OLED.
No, I buy a 48-inch just because they're only in 4K. And I think 55-inch is slightly too low pixel density.
Interesting. Yeah.
So yeah.
Do you know what the actual pixel density is of 4K at 55-inch?
I think it's something like 75.
Oh yeah, that's starting to get on the low side. Yeah.
Yeah, 75 or 80. So yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a case of if I bought 55 again, I'd want it to be like 5K or 6K minimum.
Yeah. And even then, now you're getting really punishing performance penalties to actually drive that.
Niche there, so it's just kind of a case of like,
yeah,
I'll just get a 48-inch at 4K instead.
Very well. Is OLED now a standard? We're not there yet, but there's a lot of OLED monitors coming out, and I'm excited. I think we're certainly at the point now where if you're in the market for a high-end monitor, OLED is 100% on your shopping list.
If you're spending more than about £600 on a monitor, I don't know why you'd buy anything other than an OLED without having a very specific reason. Yeah,
the last time we were talking about this, I think I said words to the effect of, I'm waiting for OLED monitors to cost less than £1,000.
Yeah.
We're there now. You're going to be paying more than 600, so like for me, if you wanted to buy two identical monitors, you're going to be paying four figures for OLED. However, you could buy one OLED gaming monitor for less than £1,000. And that means that, in my opinion, if you're in the market for a high-end gaming monitor, OLED is a no-brainer now. That's the place to be. And I'm excited because, I would love an OLED gaming monitor, but There's no planet where I can justify replacing my monitors right now. I think I hesitate. I'm not going to commit to this because it's still only April, but I don't think I should spend any money on my PC this year. And when I say any money, like, if I got, maybe I want to buy a new mouse or something like that, but I don't think I should make any big purchases for my PC this year. I think the only possible exception to that might be if I see a really nice case that catches my fancy. Maybe I'll change the case because that's, £100 or £200, but like nothing big. No, no monitors, no graphics cards, no new CPU, motherboard, stuff like that. I think that's my rule. Nothing new this year. It's time to get rich. It's time to pay off debts. I got a big old credit card bill and I got to pay that off. So yeah. So we won't be getting a 5090. Absolutely not. I shouldn't have bought the 4080 because I've still got that sodding 3080. However, it was a price that was too good to miss, really.
Yeah. Look at if you are good at spotting offers on the Dell website, the AW2725DF is worth looking at because they discounted it a couple of times, which is their 27-inch QD OLED.
So 27-inch, what is that? 1440p?
1440p.
How much is that? Ballpark.
Its MSRP is saying like 770.
Yeah.
But I've seen it discounted to high 600s.
Yeah.
So it's just a case of, I think that's currently the cheapest of the QD OLED 27
That's
inches.
fair. I still think
At least in the
1440.
UK.
Yeah, I still think 1440p is the sweet spot for gaming, and I like 27-inch. So yeah, that's something that I would consider buying because I think I've already come to the conclusion that the next time I buy monitors, I'm not going to get a matching pair because it's become increasingly difficult to justify having two fancy monitors considering I'm only ever gaming on my main monitor and my secondary monitor doesn't need to be a high-end monitor. I want it to be not terrible because like if I've got video running on it, I want the program I'm watching to not be garbage. But like I don't need to buy a pair of OLED displays. So I could have just like an IPS for YouTube and the OLED for games kind of thing. But I don't know. That much being said though, like next year, when I'm in the market to be doing big upgrades again, maybe we'll see something like that for 500 quid where I could say, okay, $1,000 and I've got dual OLEDs. And like, that would be a pretty, dual 27-inch OLEDs would just be, that would be fantastic for me right now, I think. Because I still think that dual 27 1440p is, it's just got too much utility. Any other configuration I can think of wouldn't give me the same amount of utility. So
I think my only counterpoint to that is the setup I have in the office for actual work stuff as opposed to anything that's ever used for gaming.
yeah,
Is my twin 3x2 4Ks.
yeah,
Just because they're 3x2, so we've got so much height on them, and they're 4K.
yeah, yeah,
And you can tile like 6 wide,
yeah. That's fair. Yeah,
so you can have like 12 boxes up on there of stuff.
symmetry is a lovely thing, though. I agree. Yeah,
Yeah, but if you wanted it to be symmetrical, you'd need 3. Otherwise, it's this
yeah.
or that, and doing that is just wrong because now all you're doing is staring at a bezel or sitting at an angle.
I know that feel. Yeah, that's that. I think that's my beef with running dual 27s is if I offset, so I'm looking directly at my main monitor, I have to do a lot of head movement to look at my off monitor. So much to the point that I find myself not using the furthest left side of my edge monitor because it's too far out of my peripheral vision. And if I sit in the middle, then yeah, I'm directly in front of 2 monitor bezels, which is also slightly annoying. And this is real first world problems, but like if we're talking optimum setups, then, but yeah. Right, before we carry on waffling, I'm going to start working on this. Oh, I actually need to start with the Lian Li because I need to take bits out of it. So, right, I'll explain what I'm doing today. So
Yeah, because then I might know as well.
this PC with nothing in it, I have sold.
I sold this case to someone for £600.
Actually, it was 700. But yeah.
No, just the case.
Anyway, I have sold this PC, so now I need to actually build it up. So I'm putting in a 3800X out of there, the 2070 Super out of there, this motherboard and RAM, and anything else that needs to go in there, basically.
An SSD.
I don't have an SSD, so we don't have an SSD to go in there yet. So that will need to go in afterwards, but that's just a drop it in afterwards thing. So,
Okay.
yeah.
It's not an Asus board.
No, no. So yeah, so I'm going to start. So I need to take bits out of the Lian Li and build this up. So we'll swap places. I'm putting you in charge of chat. I'm going to do the work today.
Very well. I'm going to just
Fair enough.
here.
And once I've then the Lian Li, once I've stolen bits out of it, I was waiting for, if y'all reckon back a few weeks, 3 weeks ago, I think, we ordered a 7800 X3D from AliExpress. Still waiting for it. It was due for delivery this week and it hasn't arrived, which doesn't mean that I'm out of luck yet. It's probably going to show up at any day, basically.
But it's also the case that even if it doesn't, you just go AliExpress, it's not arrived, and they go, oh no, and you have money.
Yeah. So in any case, it's not here. I really wanted to wait for that CPU to arrive before we tore down the Lian Li to rebuild it. However, because I need parts out of it, we're out of time. So we're going to do a partial rebuild on the Lian Li. I'm going to put in the motherboard and all the rest of it and just rebuild it, and it will just be sitting there with no CPU in it until the 7800X 3D shows up. So yeah. AliExpress 4 weeks. Yeah, stuff is usually here within 3 weeks, but 3 to 4 weeks is the estimate. So
yeah. Well, I was going to say, for me, I'm used to stuff turning up in about a week and a half, 2 weeks.
If it's choice, yeah.
Just because I pick all of the stuff on like for choice.
Yeah, I always aim for
10-day or
choice as
12-day
well.
shipping.
But sometimes the thing you want isn't available on choice. So yeah, like that's where all of my heckin' Slime VR trackers are in that zone at the moment. All of the parts I can get on choice delivery, except for the batteries. I have 50 batteries on back order from AliExpress at the moment.
Have you tried Banggood for batteries?
Oh, I didn't think of that. Because I trawled around, like I checked Mauser, I checked eBay, I looked around, like, has anyone else got batteries for a good value? I didn't think of Banggood. Yeah, AliExpress was the only place that had them for any kind of reasonable price. And because when you look on like eBay or even like Mauser and Farnell and stuff like that, they're charging like 3 or 4 quid per cell. Whereas on AliExpress, I'm paying, including shipping, £2 per cell.
Yeah.
And when you're buying them in at least 10 at a time, that's quite a big hike, you know. So yeah.
Yeah. Was it easy sorting out import taxes? It varies. Certainly at the least with deliveries to the UK, there are 2 ways of having that done. It can either get paid for at checkout, so the import duty, VAT, etc. all gets counted on the parcel at checkout, and you pay it all then before it actually hits customs. Or the other option is for you to pay once it's gone through customs, and basically you just get a bill with the item effectively for that. Certainly, at least if you've got commercial shipping accounts. If you haven't and you're just a consumer with a shipping account, they'll send you a letter with a bill in. You then pay that bill, and then they deliver the item.
Pretty much everything I've ever bought from AliExpress, though, it's all been handled at checkout, which is one of the reasons why when you buy something on AliExpress, certainly in the UK, the price will jump up at the checkout. It'll be listed on AliExpress for like £10, but when you get to checkout, it'll suddenly jump up to like £15, and that's because they factored in tax and stuff like that. However, it is all handled at the checkout, so as said, broadly speaking, you don't have to do anything, which is the important thing. So, Okay, right, I'm going to start taking bits out of this. So I want this graphics card.
Yeah. I have no knowledge of the Lenovo L32P-30, a 32-inch 4K 60Hz monitor. It's IPS, and according to the Lenovo website, it was going to be like £400. That doesn't seem terrible.
Yeah.
But also, I'd be expecting faster than 60 Hz.
Oh, yeah, is it 60 Hz?
Yeah, I'd be expecting faster than 60 Hz. And I'd be expecting fake HDR at £400 these days. So it's just kind of a case of, it might review really, really well for like color accuracy and hardware calibration ability and things like that. But that's not something I can tell off of a spec sheet.
Yeah.
Also, to me, whilst it's not a massive problem, it is only an 8-bit panel with FCR, as opposed to being a full, true 10-bit panel. And again, I'd be expecting a true 10-bit panel these days.
Sounds
so it's
like
kind of a case of, it might be good, but actual proper reviews, hands-on, wouldn't be necessary to determine that.
It sounds like it would be a very nice desktop monitor. So
But it's only 60 Hz.
Well, that's
and you're spending £400 on it.
Yeah, well,
so it's kind of...
Yeah, but wasn't it 4K though?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
it's just a case of, you can buy the... I think you can still get the M32Q from Gigabyte for about 400. That's a 4K 120 Hz.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah.
So it's just kind of a case of, from memory, there are products around that price that should be 120 Hz. And sure, it might not be used for gaming, but it's just a case of using 120 Hz, even on the desktop, does feel nicer.
Yeah.
So yeah, that'd be my preference. Yes. To South Africa, you can just select the lighter customs option and then pay no import. But yeah, I'm always split. So I started looking at the import duty categories and stuff for the UK for stuff from China, because there was a specific customs duty agreement between the UK and China, and certain gauges of wire have no import duty. So certain thicknesses of wire have zero import duty. But then when you get to certain thicknesses, there's then import duty and things like that.
Interesting.
So yeah, so I can't remember what I ordered. I think I ordered water cooling fittings, and they came listed on the product description as being 28 gauge wire, because 28 gauge wire has no import duty.
Yeah. Bizarre.
And I was just like, I see. What? But yeah.
CPU stolen.
What? Oh, I see.
Put that down there. And I will loose fit that.
Yeah, all of the basic Dell monitors are 100 Hz now, even the £100 ones, which is also just a nice feature.
Yeah.
It seems weird that it's 100 Hz.
That's what
not
I thought.
120.
Yeah,
but also a case of, it's 100 Hz. That's an excellent start for £100.
I thought it was really weird for them not to go to 120, because then you could just say it's double the refresh rate.
Yeah.
You know, that's nice even double, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah. Either way, you know, 100 is still going to be very noticeable over 60, you know.
Yeah. It's certainly an excellent step up. Yeah. Previous gen there was 75, so it's like, okay.
Yeah, to be honest, I defy someone to really see the difference between 60 and 75.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I've not done a side-by-side test, but like if I bought a monitor that's 75, I'm not sure that I would even bother making sure it's running at 75, you know.
Yeah.
Unless it did it automatically, kind of thing.
But it's just the thing of, it's slowly creeping up, and it's just a case of, we're now seeing 100 hertz being like the bare minimum from Dell for monitors.
Yes,
So
that is
next year
good.
we'll probably see 120 or or maybe even 144 as
Yeah.
the minimum from Dell monitors.
It also means that we're not having to. We're kind of into the realms now where you don't have to decide between high refresh or high quality anymore. For low to mid range.
Yeah.
High refresh is now a standard, and the more you spend, the higher the quality it will be.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah.
Just the thing we need now is for refresh compliance to get better again. We're still seeing so many monitors that are being sold as 144 hertz monitors or 240 hertz monitors, but their refresh compliance is actually like 40%. So only 40% of their color transitions are fast enough for them to do the refresh rate they say they are. So 40% of the pixel changes you see on screen are at the refresh rate they sell it as. 60% aren't.
Yeah.
So it's like.
Which is why you get like blurry monitors and
where you get the
monitors
smear
and
so on, and inverse ghosting, and you get weird color effects and things like that. And also just the fact of why it's just blurred and doesn't feel faster.
Yeah.
Because it actually isn't faster.
Yeah.
It's just in the same way as that some of the 1680 by 1050 monitors could accept a 1080p signal.
Oh yeah.
You're not actually gaining more pixels by adding more resolution to it. You're just supporting that output by default, and it downscales it in monitor, which is very useful if you were like connecting a console.
Yeah.
Because you connect like a PlayStation 3 and an Xbox 360 to it when that age of monitor was relevant, and the console would just go, oh, it's a 1080p screen.
Yes.
And the console wouldn't wet the bed. Yeah. Whereas trying to get the console to display anything else, it would start having a fit. And like, as far as I can recall, the original Xbox 360 could either output at 360p, 480p, 720i, or 1080i, and that was it. And you could only get 360p and 480p over VGA or something along those lines. So it's just kind of a case of, so if you have a monitor that can downscale from that 1080p that the console's outputting, then that's handy. But you don't get more pixels magically appearing in the screen. It's kind of the same way of refresh compliance. Balancing.
I'm glad that this computer is provisionally sold, because initially I'd been planning on building this chassis back up anyway, but I didn't want to do it on stream because I'm like, I think this is the third time, maybe the fourth time we've built up this exact chassis on the podcast, and every single fucking time I'll have a customer where they're like, I want this, but I want a white case, and I'd be like, I'm pulling everything out of it and putting it in a white case then. And it's remained unsold, and so like this case has been sitting in the shop for like 2, maybe 3 years. It's perfect. It's basically brand new. It's just ex demo, and this time it's actually been sold, and I'm like, I'm excited. you know?
Yeah. What's the actual human hertz limit? I think it's about 150. No, I would say it's about 580, 640. For the majority of people to start not actually being able to tell at all.
Also, this is one of those, like, this is a very context-sensitive thing.
Like, being able to see the individual refreshes, the limit is, like, what, about 50, 60 hertz for a person to be able to see the individual refreshes?
Yeah, because that's the thing, is we're not seeing in a frame rate.
Yeah.
However, if you said to someone, did this picture move, the actual number, like if part of the pictures went slightly, we can see that an awful lot. We can discern that at a lightning speed.
Yeah.
Reaction time is another question, obviously, but we can discern it at lightning speed.
Yeah.
Actually being able to perceive entire frame rates moving is different, but this is the thing, is it's in the same way that the eye doesn't have resolution. That's not how the eye works. We don't see frame rate in the same way. So it's not useful to say this is the highest refresh rate that the human eye can see. That's not a practical way to look at it. It's it's what frame rate is useful to you is more of a question.
Yeah.
And in my opinion, I think you're deep into diminishing returns past 144, unless you're like an esports gamer. And like, this is the thing, a lot of kids come into my shop and they're like, I want to buy a 200 hertz monitor kind of thing, you know, I've got to be better at Fortnite or whatever. And I'm like, if you're playing CS:GO and you're looking down a corridor and you're looking down your sniper rifle scope down a corridor, there's a double door at the end, and there's going to be a guy who goes across that double door. You're going to have, at 60 hertz, you're going to have maybe 2 frames where they're visible. And then obviously 120, you're going to have 4 frames where they're visible. And so instead of going, like at 60 hertz, there might only be 1 frame where the person was visible. So, you know, when you look at an extreme example like that, you can go up to very high refresh rates and continue to get a benefit from it, because there are more frames of visibility in that moment, which are going to help you nail that shot. But we're talking about professional competitive level esports for that to actually matter. For kids who are playing Fortnite, your skill with a mouse is going to be worth way far and away more before you actually get to the level where your hardware actually matters. So this is why for a lot of people I think it's not worth buying super high refresh stuff. But also this is why OLED is important, because you've said this before, that because of what was the again, enforceable refresh or effective refresh, when you were talking about pixels changing.
Oh, the refresh rate compliance.
Compliance, that's the one. Yeah. Like OLEDs obviously have vastly superior compliance, where you're actually getting a quote unquote real 120 FPS instead of a smeared 120 FPS. So this is the thing. It's not as simple as just bigger number better, you know. It's about actually getting a real experience from that. Yeah. And it vastly depends on what you're doing as to whether you will care or not, you know.
But there is, for me at least, there is an easily perceptible difference in smoothness and in feel all the way up to like 360 hertz.
That's fair.
Easily.
I don't...
On OLED, certainly.
Yeah, I still haven't used OLED, so...
On like IPS or VA, I've no idea. It will probably be lower than that, just because IPS and VA doesn't have the pixel response time to give you good transitions at 400 hertz or something like that. But TN does. That's why we've got 540 hertz, 580 hertz TN panels, because TN has the pixel response rate, and you're going to feel a difference between that 540 hertz, that 580 hertz, and a 120 hertz.
Interesting. But also, even though you might be able to feel that, given that I would defy that to be worthwhile, and also just simply because, again, like when you look at frame times and stuff like that, I think also once you get up to that kind of frame rate, it's not just the diminishing returns of can you see it being smoother, it's also just like you're now if you're talking about 500 hertz, you have to drive the game at 500 FPS. And like, even if you're playing CS:GO, now you're getting into the realms of tall order,
Well, 500 hertz is what? Anything 4070 or faster?
I suppose, yeah. Okay, maybe not CS:GO, but at any rate,
yeah. Oh no, absolutely.
Yeah. We're getting into astronomical actual frame rates here.
Oh
and
yeah,
so
absolutely.
If we're talking about a monitor that you'd actually want to own, like the vast majority, like when I'm playing high graphics games, my PC is struggling to drive them at 144 frames a second because I'm trying to run maxed out AAA graphics.
Oh
so,
no, absolutely.
Yeah,
I don't disagree.
Yeah.
But just talking about whether there is a difference.
Yes.
To define the term, to redefine the terms of the conversation, to have two parallel conversations about it.
Yeah.
What do I think is reasonable for most people to buy?
Yeah.
I think what is reasonable for people to buy is the fastest, cheapest refresh rate of the current OD monitor range, effectively. Yeah. Because if the current gen QD OLED monitors at the size and resolution you want is 360 hertz, I don't know why you buy a 240 hertz monitor.
Yeah.
a 240 hertz QD OLED when the 360 hertz ones exist.
Yes.
Because
yeah,
they're
that's fair.
functionally the same price.
Yeah.
And in the same way, is it, 32-inch 4K? I don't know why you'd buy a 120 hertz or a 60 hertz OLED when the 240 hertz ones exist.
Yes.
Or the 360 hertz ones exist. If that makes sense, because you're already buying those premium monitors, and I don't know why you'd buy a less premium monitor for the same money, kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's like the difference between the Samsung G7 and G8. There's one of the monitors that does like 240 hertz, and then you can buy the same monitor again for the same price, but it only does 120 hertz.
Yeah.
And it's the same price.
Yeah.
It's like,
yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
What?
I think when discussing what's worthwhile, I think this is. I think we're working on the assumption that better is more expensive.
Yeah.
So,
and I think it's worth paying. I would say it's worth paying probably maybe £100 more. It's sort of what the 27-inch QD OLEDs are at the moment, on that £600-700.
Yeah.
I think it's worth spending about £100 more to go up from the 240 hertz to 360 hertz ones, because also the other features that come with those newer generation monitors, the slightly increased brightness, the slightly increased color volume, the faster refresh rate, the better sub-pixel structure, stuff like that. So overall, because of all of the bits that come in it, I think that's a very worthwhile spend. But if you were saying third generation QD OLED versus third generation QD OLED, one's 240, one's 360, that's the only difference, and there's £100 difference in it, sure, I can see a far stronger argument for just saying, no, I'm going to save £100.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Because you're at 240 hertz already. But if the difference was between 120 and 240, I think my answer would basically be always buy the 240.
Fair enough.
Certainly on the OLED front.
So it's always going to be a product of all of the specs, and I think the TLDR is you need to look at it as a product of everything.
Yeah, but it's certainly a case of I would be saying to basically anyone to push up to 240 hertz.
Yeah.
In 2024.
Yes, because that is possible to do so. Yeah.
Because
I think the takeaway that I'm trying the takeaway that I'm trying to point out is that these refresh rates aren't necessary. However, it's worth looking at those monitors because that is what you can buy for reasonable amounts of money.
Yeah, I'd certainly.
But what I don't want the takeaway here to be is that we say, oh, you should get 240 hertz because anything less than that is shit, kind of things. Like, no, that's not useful. The point is, you can buy better for a reasonable amount of money. Therefore, it makes sense to do so.
Yeah, and it's certainly a case. And it's certainly, I think, the case of that's what it's saying is like I'd be starting my suggestions with those 240 hertz monitors and so on, because that's what is the newest monitor. The newest monitors are 240 hertz or faster.
Yeah.
So looking at current gen monitors, that's what you're going to be looking at is 240 hertz or faster buying the newest monitors.
Yeah, fair enough.
So I think it's because that's what fulfills the current 2024 monitor range. So
very well. Also, hello, Paul, by the way. I did see you sneak in. So, yes. You did more LED ring lights. Neato. Are you any closer to selling them? Or is this still on a matter of, like, just building small runs that you sell to friends kind of thing?
Yeah.
Fair enough. Okay. I just did a scan through the chat and just everything is just kind of summarising what we've just spoken about or is talking about something else. So I'm just like, oh, okay. All right.
Nothing good just to give us 60 frames per second and 7 days to die. Really? That seems unlikely. I'm sure with enough ridiculous levels of money expenditure, it would be possible.
Yeah, probably. We've got to go higher than what you're running, though, Paul, because, I think...
I was going to say, last time I heard Paul talk about his own personal computers, I was just like, I see. Very well. We are looking at different requirements.
Yes. Because that's the thing. Like, you can make anything go fast if you throw money at it, but, you know, as I say, I think it depends on what people are looking to spend, because I don't think Paul is looking to spend 900 quid on a 4080 Super.
No, absolutely. I think it was just the fact, though, that Paul had a 1650, not Super.
That's it. So it's
just like that will be a...
Yeah, that's going to be higher than what you... I can't remember. What did you upgrade from and to recently? I think you upgraded to a 1660 Super, which was still a lot higher than what you previously had, but again, that's not high-end by standards. But also, again, it's just a case of, do you want to spend... How much do you want to spend on the game, basically? There we go. USB is going over there.
Oh. I don't like the concept of possibly the highest daytime air temperature being 47.5 Celsius. You can keep that in Australia. Yes. How horrifying. You have upgraded to a 1660. Cool. Okay. So I was going to say, from loose memory, there is a substantial performance upgrade from a 1650 to a 1660.
Yeah.
Given what, at least last time I looked at pricing, was a very small actual overall price difference.
Yeah, the 50 class cards are the ones that just don't seem to actually make any sense in a real world scenario. Yeah.
There was back in the day when like the 1050 Ti was good.
Yeah, well, the 1050 Ti gave the 960 a bloody nose, didn't it?
Yeah.
It was the 1050 Ti was a 60 class card, just about.
Yeah.
So that was actually kind of viable. But yeah, I think that was the last of the 50 class cards that were actually worth it. If you pick one up cheap, sure.
Yeah.
But in all other instances now, you're better off spending like £20 more for 50% more performance, kind of thing.
It's one of those really awkward kind of sectors of the market where it's some of the time you're just like, we really need to find £10 in this budget because we're going to find you 30% performance.
Yeah.
Where can we find you £10? Because 30% for £10 is so worth it.
We're building it in a cardboard box.
I'm terribly sorry we couldn't supply you with a case. Here is a cardboard box, but your computer's 30% faster. Also, it comes with RGB now. It's an RGB box. The important features are still here. The RGB.
Look, kids like RGB. RGB is important. Kids like RGB, I'm a kid.
Yes. Still watching F1? Yes, absolutely. Although, obviously, not presently. I'm here.
All right. Right, put that motherboard in.
I need to get involved in more conversations with people. But I wanted to butter people up for my meetings this week about, so you know how you sponsored this event and you know how you sponsor this event. Yeah. When are you going to give me tickets?
Oh, are you going to try? Are you going to try and get a ticket to the Monte Carlo Grand Prix? It's a running gag. We'll get our money's worth out of it. That would actually be really fucking funny if you actually went there.
Also, I'll have you know, it's the Monaco Grand Prix.
That's the one. Yeah, I forgot. Where's Monte Carlo? Serious question.
Isn't there also the casino?
Oh, what, Casino Royale?
Casino?
I don't know. Or Montenegro, is that the same thing?
Oh dear.
What the hell has happened there?
That or Silverstone, at least. We can all camp there. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd probably do Silverstone, I guess. Yeah. Like, I don't know how excited I would be to go to an F1 race.
Unacceptable.
I'd probably go for
Cancelled.
I'd probably go for the atmosphere, but like for me, the only motorsport that I've seen live has either been Goodwood Festival of Speed and the hill climb, or I've also been to British touring cars. And British touring cars is great because there's like 2 rounds of touring cars. There's like a round of the Clio Cup and a round of the Porsche Cup, all in one day. Yeah. You get like 5 races you get to see, plus the show kind of thing. You know, British touring cars, I don't know if they're still going. I haven't been keeping tabs on it, but back in the day, British touring cars was a cracking day out, you know. And I've no idea if F1 lives up to that same level or not, as well as being like pretty affordable to attend.
Yeah, I was looking at the corporate hospitality stuff for Silverstone, just because we got marketed for it last year, I think, and it wasn't that bad. I think they wanted £4,000 for 10 people, and I was like, that's not bad.
Oh, if you broke that down,
£400 a person for corporate hospitality.
I was going to say, that. I don't know the details of that.
That's cheaper than a gold seat ticket was last year.
Yeah, like that sounds like that would be pretty comfy.
Yeah, and I was just like, okay.
Right, I don't know if this CPU cooler is going to fit or not, but I'm going to try.
It will fit.
Yeah. Oh, it better fit because I don't think I've got anything else to put on here. So hopefully it will. I know the threads fit, but basically I don't know if I can screw this directly onto an AMD backplate or not. We're about to find out. Masking tape.
Whoop. Expensive, Carol. We can be 10 people. Well, yeah, that was kind of my point. But also just the fact of I need to tap up, people who sponsor these events and just be like, so, you're going to give me a ticket? And by me, I mean everyone, I need 2 of them, at least.
All right. Thermal paste. It can have some MX4 as a treat, because it's the 3800X and it probably needs it.
Yeah.
No cider today. Oh, actually, I was going to get cider out in a minute ago, but we were kind of in the middle of stuff. I want cider. Are you having a drink, Caradog?
No, thanks.
Fair enough.
I haven't.
Yes, you're still hungover. Yeah.
I haven't been to the Goodwood Revival.
Yeah, Goodwood's fun. There's lots to see there, because it's effectively a car show, but also you've got the hill climb going at the same time. So there's an ongoing thing through the day, and when you're like, okay, well, I've watched cars drive up a hill several times, I'm going to go and look around the show now. You know, there's often lots to see there.
Yeah, I went to...
Let's have this one.
I think I went to the Festival of Speed.
Yeah, Festival of Speed is the one that I've been to, because that's the one with the hill climb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just because there's Revival, Festival of Speed, and something else, isn't there? The 3 big events they do, right?
I forget what. I think Revival is exclusively classic. I think. Isn't it?
It's exclusively pre-70s.
Yeah, and Festival of Speed is everything, if my memory serves me.
Yeah, I went to Festival of Speed. Again, corporate tickets. And that was good.
You decided you didn't like the honeys, didn't you?
Yeah, just the base cider didn't sit quite right on me.
It's got a taste to it.
Yeah, it wasn't a taste thing. It was a effective, what I'll describe as a body feel thing.
Oh, you had a pint of it and you're like, oh.
Like from the 3rd mouthful, it felt wrong here.
I've had that with I've had that with a few pints that we've had here. To be honest, where I've kind of struggled to get through it, not because it was unpleasant, but it just didn't sit well with me. Yeah. I'm sort of starting to notice that more and more actually with certain ciders we get, where I like the flavour, but after I've drunk it, I'm just like, don't know. Yeah. Also there are certain ciders where I can, like, last night I was drinking Thatcher's Blood Orange, had 2 of them, no problem. which was actually pretty good going for me. Whereas normally if I've had 2 ciders, I'm just like, shouldn't I have the second one kind of thing.
Yeah.
So...
Sorry, I liked Ty's message. I need a ticket for me, my girlfriend, my boyfriend, my girlfriend's boyfriend, my boyfriend's girlfriend, and for 6 of my friends. Thanks.
See, yeah, this is kind of funny because I've been management for conventions because I was running My Little Pony conventions at one point. Long story, and I know there when we had guests. Community guests there for music and stuff like that, they would always be like, we'd be like, obviously your ticket is, you're comped in because you're a guest, and they'd be like, what about my girlfriend kind of thing. We're like, all right, yeah, we'll comp your girlfriend in as well, and then they'd be like, oh, also my other friend wants to come, and we'd have this issue where and in the end we made it a rule where it was a case of each person who was a guest gets a +1. And we were like, that seems fair, because that you get 1 + 1, so then you can't just comp in all of your mates kind of thing, but you can bring your significant other. But also just certain people who didn't have a significant other to come along would just +1 one of their mates. And I know that at one year we had someone who showed up, and I was in the green room, which is basically the guests' room for where they can hang out while they're not performing or need a break from the convention. And I was talking to some of the guests there, and I was talking to one of the +1s, and he was just like, oh yeah, I met them like just last week, and they were like, come along with us. And I'm just like, you're just some random guy, and you got +1'd into the green room. Why are you here, and why did we pay for your ticket? Very nice person, but at the same time I'm just like, we're running on a threadbare budget here, and this is just a random person comped into the event. And it was very funny but frustrating at the same time, and that just made me think of that,
Yeah.
Before I thermal paste this, I'm actually just going to see if the cooler will go on.
Do you have a thing to go on the cooler?
I do. There it is. Yes, this fits the threads, but I'm not sure if the height offset is correct, because I'm not sure if this is supposed to have its own backplate or whether it will fit the AMD backplate, basically. So yeah, we're about to find out.
I was going to say, I would have significantly fewer concerns about stuff like that, when there's international TV coverage of the event.
Yes, this is true. Yes, they can afford it. I'm not sure if any of this stuff is actually matched. It was all in a box together, so I'm like, I assume this stuff goes together, but looking at how far that's got to go, I'm having doubts. Oh, the height offset is too high. Unless, I wonder if I could just stick some standoffs on there, just to increase the height a little bit. I'm going to try that. I'm going to do science super quick.
Very well.
Yeah, because annoyingly, the backup plan was going to be that Noctua cooler, but obviously I've just realised that's got Intel mounts on it, so that's not going to help me either. So yeah, I'm suddenly having a horrible thought that I don't have a cooler for this, which is going to be frustrating.
I thought you had 3 in boxes. I thought you said you bought more Peerless Assassins.
I thought I did, but I don't think I did.
Did you buy any more coffee?
I did buy coffee. We've got coffee. So yes. However...
What's wrong with the H17R? The purple box on the bottom right shelf.
That's an empty box, but that much being said...
Why is it there then?
It's got fittings in it. So actually, does it have useful fittings? Why does this exist?
I don't know. Imagine not just having an AK-620 ready to go.
Yeah.
I can't remember, what is the AK-620?
That's,
Oops, that's got a 5 in it. Is that the dual tower one? Yeah.
Yeah, that's missing parts. Yeah.
How much is £51?
Next, Peerless Assassin.
50.
This is why we buy Peerless Assassins. They're 30 quid.
Excuse me?
30 quid for a 280 watt cooler. You can't.
What's on coolers?
Well, it is a cooler that is capable of handling a CPU running at 280 watts.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Very well.
Tested. I had it on a
55, but no. Am I going to look at CPU coolers and then go, what the hell are the prices of all
No,
of these?
you're going to buy Peerless Assassin because it wins.
Assassin.
Yeah.
33 quid.
Yeah. This is the thing. It's just like, what cooler should I buy? A Peerless Assassin.
Oh,
There's only one answer.
I don't know.
Oh, that's good for a cheap
13
one. That's not what it looked like in the picture just then.
I see. Oh no, not
also though, this is a
36 pounds.
Also though, this is a 3800X, which means it's just hot enough that it actually needs a half decent cooler.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But
yeah.
I was like, an Arctic Freezer i35 for 13 quid is a decent cooler.
It is.
But it's not. It's 30 something pounds. No thanks.
I think I've run out of standoffs. I've got a bunch of random ones,
right.
but
Assassin X 120 for £16. Oh yeah. That's wild.
One,
sure, it's a small
two,
little single tower cooler, but it's 16 quid.
Oh, that's cute. I like that.
Yeah, it's
See, that's nice for esports PCs. I like it how it used to be £10 and now it's £16.
no, that's 18.
Oh, okay, fine, yeah. I was like, that's not how that works.
Because £11 off of 18 makes 16.
£10? No, 16. But yeah, that's nice because like this is what you put on a computer that you were going to use a stock blower on, but you can use that because it looks nicer.
Yeah, or the Assassin Spirit.
Maybe.
16
right.
quid. Yeah, 16 quid.
Will this fit?
That looks fine. AM4, AM5, 1700, 1150, 1151, 1200. Yeah, fine. 16 quid. That's not bad. Thermalright Assassin Spirit 120 V2. Oh, if you want a white one, you can get a white one for £16. There we go. For all of those white builds as well.
Oh yeah. Kind of want to do a white build at some point. Now that there's actually enough stuff available to commit properly to the white build, because for a long time white builds were always like, it's a white case, but it's mostly black components. Whereas now it's actually it is quite possible to do an actual white build. There is a white tax. There's like quite a few times you'll look at the white version of something and it's more expensive just for being white. But
I'm one of those people who just buys whichever colour is cheapest.
I tend to do that. But yeah. All right, I've put some standoffs onto this back plate and I think that's going to work out. I'm going to do the test fit.
Green PCBs with ketchup and mustard. I mean, yeah. It just needs to be, fast. If I can save £100 on my 4090, and it comes with a green PCB instead, I don't care.
Oh my god, am I going insane here?
Gigabytes never have high-end mobos in white, right? So why'd I buy them? What? JD?
Bastard. Okay, no, that's not going to fit.
You're supposed to be looking at the hot people at gaming conventions, not the damn PCs. But if you're expecting there to be hot people at the fuck, never mind.
Yeah, I don't know what show you've been to with Booth Babes lately. Yeah, I was going to say I haven't been to a lot of IT trade shows, but I've been to a couple, and booth babes just haven't been a thing for a very long time.
Yeah. Oh, also your microphone is very much resting on your collarbone.
We may continue.
Da, 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 da.
Okay. I don't think I've got a cooler. Balls.
Oh, getting Comic-Con and gaming mixed up. Yes, exactly, Paul.
Yeah.
CEX has the hot booth babes, though. Does it? Oh, yeah, the Consumer Electronics Show. Yes.
Although I don't think we've got the hardware for whatever that is. Yeah.
Have a nondescript white box. Are these, in fact?
Don't know. Oh, I forget where this came from.
I know where it's going, though.
Yeah. I support your decision.
Scythe
Mugen.
Bonjour, Mugen.
Did I think I don't know where the hell the scythe is. I must have used it up somewhere.
Did you not put it on the 13900?
No, that was a Peerless Assassin. I think
it didn't go
either
into
way,
the
there is
long V2.
However, also there's a crap ton of mounting hardware in here. There must be something I can use in here. In fact, this looks like a box where I've just been shoving just mounting hardware for coolers. Have we got anything that I can use in here? I mean, fundamentally, I would need an AMD backplate for something, so...
Where is the box?
The box?
Of all of the mounting bits.
For water cooling stuff, that'll be out the back. But,
just because it had lots of mounting bits in it.
Yeah, I think that was all exclusively AIO mounting parts, though.
EIO.
This is supposed to be only. Oh, what's in
Cooler
there?
Master Evo 2.
Yeah.
It says on the box Cooler Master Evo 212, and in there is
A Scythe Mugen. Well, I hope there's more than just that in there. Okay,
none of the stuff is what you're. There's a gigabyte manual and it's a weird assortment of not Cooler Master mounting hardware.
This looks like it was on its way to the bin and never made it.
I have a box for an Elutang something.
I don't care about any of this stuff. I'm going to lob all of that into there and lob that in the bin. That's going in the bin.
EVGA power supply cables.
I don't think we're going to find any useful mounting hardware in here. This is all for AIO coolers. Oh. Ha! Oh, that might be useful. What's this? This is a backplate for a Freezer 7. However, I might be able to build up something that works with this using this. Okay. Hup. We're still looking for standoffs. I don't know. We're looking for something. Yeah. I'm going to give up on this in a minute because I might just have to just buy a cooler for this PC. I'm currently just inverting the mounts on this backplate for AMD, and then I'm going to see if I can make any standoffs fit it. Because the reason why I've got a bus on the current ones I'm using is the ones that I've just tried to fit The AMD backplate uses Imperial threads, and this Cooler Master has M3s on it. And I thought it fitted. However, now I've sort of looked closer, I'm like, oh no, it doesn't, because M3 kind of sort of fits into an Imperial, but not properly. So it's very easy to think it fits when it actually doesn't. Anything useful?
No.
Yeah, no. I think I'm going to chuck all of these cooler boxes in the bin, so I stop getting confused by them.
That's what I was about to do with this one.
Yeah.
I was just checking if there was anything useful in it first. So I was just like, a cooler box, that would be useful. It was not.
Useful for nothing. Ooh, there's more there. That's all AIO stuff as well.
Oh! I hear metal jingles from this Cooler Master box.
Ah.
Would you like a box of Cooler Master fittings?
Ah. Yeah, I've got so many just spare fitting parts, but oh, yeah, might be good. Oh, you know what? I think those are the right ones. Oh, maybe. That thread looks way too big. Oh, it's so close. It's so close to being correct, but it's not. Oh, that's super annoying. These are the correct ones for what I've got on the cooler, but I don't have the backplate for it, unless they'll fit here, which they won't, no. I'm going to give up on this in a minute and just admit that I don't have a cooler for it, and I'll just have to buy a cooler. I'm basically just trying to use the parts that are available so they actually get used and aren't just sitting around. Because if I can't use this, then I've just got to chuck it out, because if I don't have the mounting hardware for it, then it's no good. But it always seems like such a bummer to throw out a perfectly good cooler because you don't have the mounting hardware. And finding replacement mounting hardware is either very difficult or just not economical. Because if you do find mounting hardware, it'll be like £20 for a mounting kit, and you're like, I can just buy a whole ass cooler for that, you know.
That's the thing I like about Arctic and Noctua is the mounting kits aren't horrendous.
Yeah, they'll just sell you new mounting kits.
Yeah.
Oh, this is going to be AM3, isn't it? Yeah, this is AM3. Nope, we're done. Okay. Needs a cooler. Ah, that's a bummer. I don't even have like a Wraith Max that I can put on here. I don't think.
No, I think you've got a Spire.
Yeah, that's not going to cut it though. Yeah. Yeah, I used a Wraith Max on another AMD cooler I had on another AMD that I sold recently. So yeah, I definitely don't have one of those. Okay, we're done. I'm going to lob all of this mounting hardware into a box of random other mounting hardware, and I'll put the rest of the PC together, but it's just going to need a CPU cooler as well.
I cannot see one.
Anything there useful?
Are you just binning this?
Yeah, that's just a grotty box, and
Anything
it's got
else
some.
to bin?
No, that's not useful.
No. I said anything else
Oh, I
to
see.
bin.
Yeah, to bin. Yeah, that's. That won't fit either. Master Gel Pro. Well, that's a one-shot wonder. Give that to a customer at some point. Okay. Chuck all those boxes out as well. All right, unfortunate. Okay. I will put all of this into... Have I got a small useful box? I've just thrown out all of my cardboard that would have had useful sized boxes. Fine, it's all going in there for now then.
Oh well.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, we've got no CPU cooler. That's unfortunate. Right. Do I have a bag to put those other bits in? All right, well, in that case, let's shop for a CPU cooler. A peerless assassin would be awesome, but also I don't really want to spend 30 quid on a cooler for this. That's a bit overkill. Have we got something that is like...
what, £16?
Well, 16 quid. Well, do you reckon that'll handle a 3800X? So we're looking for something that's... 3800X is like, I don't know, 100 watts? Something like that?
Assassin's Spirit V2...
Yeah, does it say what that's rated for? They usually say what they're rated for. And like, obviously you should take that with a pinch of salt, but if it says it can do 120 watts, then it's probably reasonable to assume it can do 100, you know. Also, is it on like Amazon or somewhere that I'll already have an account for? Yeah. I mean, it's a 120 watt single tower cooler.
225 watts rating.
No, it's not going to do that much. However, if it claims it can do 220 watts, then 100 should be reasonable, you know. Even if we assume it will only do half what they claim, that's still enough. So, yeah. Okay, we'll get one of those then. So we'll get black... how much is the black RGB one?
$15.79.
Oh, ironically the cheapest. Yeah. Yeah, cool. Let's have one of those then. Decision made. That's all going to one side. Useless. All right. Right, we don't have a cooler, we don't have a SSD. I'll slap in this graphics card so it's in there.
What?
This is going to be a very strange half-done build.
What?
Oh god, it's that thing. It's that one weird Intel cooler that's just like tall. I don't know why that exists. That's like the i9 stock blower kind of thing, you know?
And apparently someone is... Yeah, Intel sell it as a boxed cooler. The Intel Thermal Solution TS15A.
It's so weird. It's so weird.
Why?
That must exist purely because certain OEMs or system integrators said, I can buy an i7 K SKU from, you know, I can buy a high-end i7 or an i9 for you. What CPU cooler am I authorized to fit to this? And they're like, well, I guess we need to make one. So that exists. Right, putting this in here. Graphics card in. And what's the TDP of a 2070 Super? Can you quickly Google that?
I'm going to guess...
200 watts?
I'm going to guess it's 225.
Yeah, 225, 250, something like that. Yeah, 200 is a bit low.
Mm. 215.
215, yeah.
For the stock one. So
yeah.
I'd expect 250.
Yeah.
For like the
long and short is
fancy
I
ones.
can daisy chain it,
yeah.
basically. So yeah, because I know I'm immediately going to take shit from chat for daisy chaining the Powerst thing, but if it's less than 300, you know, less than 250 watts, like theoretically, the 8-pin is good for 300. However, like if you're talking 215 to 220, it's fine, basically. Let's turn that over. Alright, so I need a CPU cooler, I need a SSD, and then everything else is already in here. And the only thing around the back is the power supply and the RGB controller, which is already in there. We can't turn this on because we don't have cooling for it, so that's unfortunate. Although that much being said, I knew I wasn't going to have an SSD anyway, so I knew this was as far as we were going to get with this one. Oh, that cable just doesn't sit in a pleasing way. That's fine. All right, that'll do for now. That's as far as I can go with this system for the time being. Very well. SSD and M.2 prices are awful right now. Yeah, big mood. Like, we knew that they were going to go up. The warnings were there. All the people were just like, NAND prices are going up next year. And I was just like, you know, I should probably stock up. But I didn't want to drop a load of money into it. However, now we're here and they've gone up in price. I'm like, God, I wish I'd bought like 30 or 40 1 terabyte SSDs, because I'd be making bank on them right now, basically. But yeah. Right. I'll stick the side panel on this for now because it's not getting anything else until it's got a cooler. Could you actually purchase that? Oh yeah.
Do you need or want any other ones? Do you need any SSDs? Are we also going to look?
Yeah, I need.
Going to look at SSDs.
Yeah, I need SSDs. 1 terabyte M.2s, because I don't see the point in buying. For when I'm buying 2.5-inch MX500s, I'm looking at 512s at the moment to keep prices down. However, for gaming PCs, I don't think it's worth putting a 500 gig in a gaming PC.
No.
That just doesn't make sense. So yeah, we'll just it'll cost 80 quid, 85 quid to get the 1 terabyte, but that's how much I've factored into the build cost of this PC anyway.
Do you want me to get a Peerless Assassin as well?
Yeah, I really should. I really should have one on hand, just in case. It's kind of dumb because they're massive overkill for a lot of instances. But if I actually need a big, if I had one of those in stock, I probably wouldn't put it in here, just because 30 quid is a bit too much for the cooler for this. But it does make sense to have it on hand just in case someone walks in with a massive CPU and no cooling. So.
Yeah, no, the AK400 is 30 quid as well. That's just not worth it.
No. Which is a bummer because it's a nice sized cooler, but when the Peerless Assassin costs three quid more, yeah. Okay.
And is physically quite a bit larger.
Yeah.
Which at least infers capacity.
Okay. Right. So yeah, in that case, we just need some SSDs.
Yes, indeed.
I would imagine P3 Plus is probably the price sweet spot at the moment. Unless Western Digital have done something with their pricing. Alright, let's go into one side until I've got more parts.
Oh, you can still buy little octane drives? Huh.
Whew.
The like absolute cheapest 1 terabyte one appears to be the Western Digital Green SM350.
Yeah, Western Digital Green is a hard nope from me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kingston MV2.
P3 Plus there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the 2 terabyte one.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorting inverse value, so price by gigabyte increasing.
Oh, I see, yes.
So I'm looking at the cheapest.
I was
overall
looking at that
ones.
going, I don't understand what order this is in. But
Yeah.
yeah, price per gigabyte, yeah.
Yeah. Just to see if there was anything where you suddenly look, oh, there's a 2 terabyte one for £75.
Yes.
Right.
That would make sense.
Yeah, that's all I was looking for, but no,
Yeah.
there aren't.
Could you bring the chat up split screen? Just so I can keep track of them. Doo-doo.
Da-da!
Fix what?
Oh.
Fick what? Fick what sounds dangerously Chinese to me, and I'm not buying Chinese SSDs. Yeah. Very impressed with my Kioxia. Yeah, Kioxia seemed to be a reasonably solid bet for good value. Fick what? 1 terabyte, 40 quid lightning deal. Oh. It's got a graphene cooling sticker. Man, I'm kind of torn on that because on the one hand, I'm like, that looks mega Chinesium, but also it's 40 quid. Are there any reviews on that drive? Because it's cheap, but also like it. For example, if a King spec SSD cost that amount, I'd be like, no, I'm not buying it because it's King spec, which means it will fail in a month. Apparently they're an ODM for a lot of mainstream brands. And yeah, like just because it's a, like, don't get me wrong, if they are actually one of these mega Chinesium, okay, I'm getting mixed reviews from chat. Getting mixed reviews, so. Yeah, I'm very skeptical about a lot of SSDs because, it's like I'll still die on this hill that the BX500 is the BX500, Crucial's budget one, is bad because I've just seen too many failures on that, which is why I still always say MX500 or bust. But yeah. But also just that price is really, really attractive if it's actually usable. I need to pull back some of the wiring on this cooler so I can actually move it. I'm taking the motherboard out of this PC so I can drop in a new motherboard. And this is the last of my X570 motherboards, this. Come on. Oh, shit. Oh, I've put thermal paste everywhere. Alright, I'm committed. Come on. Work with me here. Bloody EK hardware. It's all crap. Nope. Let's just unpin it.
It would appear that, based off of this review, the performance is fine as long as you're not using full small files or reading and writing to it.
That makes it sound very bad.
It will do the speed it advertises for large sequential read writes.
Yeah.
Using it for small files, you'll get a third of the performance. Which.
So what's the actual
like,
performance then? So what's the random ops?
Supposedly 1.8 gig, but I don't know.
Yeah, so like those crystal
yeah.
dinch benches look fine.
Oh no, sorry, that's QDEP 32. Yeah, that's why. The QDEP 1 is 66.
Yeah, but also like
okay.
that's fine. That's I would call that completely acceptable. See, the problem is, I want to take a punt on that, but the issue is there's not really any way of me really testing them without buying some for my own computers, kind of thing. I guess I could buy a couple and just see if any come back under warranty. But like for 40 quid, man, that's... I almost think that's worth a punt, to be honest. You DM'd a link for a drive. Which drive, Si? Yeah, use the Kioxia 480 SATA drives. Yeah, I don't want SATA. M.2 or bust. Yeah, I think for 40 quid, that's worth a punt. Yeah, like it's, yeah, P3 Plus for 60 quid, yeah. See, the P3 Plus, that's what I would go for. That's my default go-to. But 40 quid is really good. That seems like a great idea, you know. You linked the Crucial. Yeah, that's the one that I would go to anyway, so. The Fickwat, yeah. Yeah, the Fickwat seems like a really good buy, to be honest. I'm kind of tempted to take a punt on a couple of those and just see how it goes. I might buy one, put it in here. Well, I might buy two and put one in here. Well, okay, you say no, Kurt. Why not? What, you know, make your case. That's the thing. It's not that I don't believe you, but like I've got multiple people. Some people are saying they're fine, they're great, and other people are going, no, it's Chinese in bollocks. And the reviews show fairly solid performance. So, yeah, that's the thing, is like, make your case. If we're going to make recommendations here, let's actually base it on an actual argument rather than hearsay. Removing thermal paste so I stop spreading it everywhere. And are they using crap NAND or something manufactured by someone reputable? Yeah. It's, do we know what, that's the thing. Does anything, do any of the reviews actually state what NAND they're using?
No, we don't know.
Yeah, that's frustrating when reviews don't show this kind of stuff.
We don't know because we already know that all of the SSD manufacturers change NAND.
Oh, they swap it around.
At random. Anyway,
yeah,
so
it's
it
luck of the draw,
matter.
Isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. How much they're in the UK? They're 40 quid, Kurt, which is why we're considering them. They're 50% cheaper than the P3 Plus, which is the next best bang for buck. You know, that's why I'm considering a completely unknown brand, because it's like 50% cheaper. You know, like that's a pretty compelling thing.
I think the answer is based off of this testing. Where's that result?
Right, I think I've freed this. I think I'm ready to actually take the screws out of this motherboard and lift the darn thing out now.
Oh, that's really unfortunate. Okay, fine. It sounds like it's got an absolutely tiny SLC cache though. Just so it's a case of that is a consideration.
Yeah, but, I mean, so does the P3 Plus. The P3 Plus falls over if you do.
The P3 Plus is about 200 gig though, whereas this is 80.
Oh, I see.
So it's just a case of...
Yeah, that really is tiny. Yeah, that will just immediately fall over if you could transfer a 10 gig file to it.
So yeah, so it's kind of a case of...
Yeah. And like that, it will be functional, it will work, but as someone who has owned cheap SSDs, after I switched to better SSDs, I was like, yeah, I'm kind of done with these cheap small cache SSDs because they just fall over as soon as you do big transfers to them.
Yeah.
And it's really awful when they do, because they will slow down to literally slower than a hard drive when that happens. Yeah, not gonna lie, that's kind of a deal breaker. You like the PNY? No cash, but you've had decent experiences with it.
Oh.
Any team group in the UK? We didn't spot them coming up on PC Part Picker. Like the next best option is the Crucial P3 Plus, which is always cheap in the UK.
Yeah, you got the Kioxia for like 58 quid.
Kioxia,
Yeah.
58. Yeah, and how much is the P3 Plus? Oh, there's a team group for 60. Yeah. And just check it on
where the
Amazon.
hell's the P3 Plus?
Yeah, just check it.
Yeah,
on
yeah. But I was just scrolling the list and like, where the hell's the P3 Plus gone?
I was going to say it should be on that list.
Please, P3 Plus 1 terabyte is apparently 70 quid. That's why it wasn't showing up.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's oddly expensive.
Yeah, you can get a WD Black SN770 for 65.
Yeah. So
which
in
you
which
pick over that.
yeah. So in which case, like the team group or the Kioxia suddenly becomes the viable option there. Is the team group or the Kioxia available on Amazon?
Christ, the 980 is functionally the same price.
Yeah. Where's that from, Si? I can't check links at the moment because I'm here.
Yeah.
On buy, dropped shipped from Amazon. Oh, I see. So you buy it from the on buy website, but it shows up via Amazon. Interesting. Still means I've got to make an account somewhere else, though. This is why I like to buy from Amazon, because I just click the buy button. Yeah. Was the Kioxia on Amazon?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. How much is the Kioxia or the Team Group on Amazon, though? Because this is the thing. Often the simplest solution is the best. So.
Oh, that's an SD card.
I'm going to brush this case down while I'm working on it. Not really good.
Yeah, no.
All right, the team group.
That was actually showing, and actually, where's that coming from? Oh yeah, on Amazon it's 70 quid. That's why. 60 quid from
there you
Amazon.
Go. 60 quid for the team group. Yeah. Yeah, and Team Group is a brand that I would trust. So, hypothetically though, like, let's look up the specs on that for argument's sake. Because I don't know anything. Team Group is a brand that I recognise, but I don't know anything about that specific drive. So, let's see if we could look up the specs on that, so we can justify why I would trust that drive instead. Mainly like how big is the cache and stuff like that, because if we see that that's got like a 200 gig cache like the Crucials, then we can be like, oh cool, well you're going to get at least the same performance as a Crucial would give, which is enough to not immediately crumble as soon as you're doing a large transfer to it. WD850 is apparently the way to go. They're all expensive in the UK. Pros, black PCB. Oh, apparently it's got a large write cache.
Yeah.
That sounds promising.
Oh, it's still DRAM-less.
Yeah. To be honest, I think a lot of them are DRAM-less. You have to go up to like the premium ones like Samsung and so on to actually get DRAM now. Which means paying the premium prices like more like 80 quid for your SSD. And like, if you're building your own computer, that's going to make more sense. If you're building your own computer, you should spend more. I think it's worthwhile. However, for me, going up to like that next tier starts massively eating into the profit margins. Yeah, PCI Express 5 Crucial that you put in your friend's PC can do 13,500 megs per second. Yeah, see, that's interesting, but obviously that's good for the future, but like there's nothing else that will actually write at that speed, so it's not a speed that you actually make use of. Like for me, I only care about an SSD being able to do like 1,000 megs per second. What I care more about is that I can transfer, say, a 20 gigabyte file to it and it doesn't immediately plummet down to 100 megs per second, which is what happens with cheap SSDs. They're fine until you do a big file transfer to them and then they just completely fall over. I've seen it time and time again. Why not go with the Team Group? Well, we're looking at the Team Group at the moment, and Team Group is a brand that I recognise and would trust, but I want to find out, I want to be able to say, look, this Team Group has these specs, that's why I would trust it, you know. I want, because, you know, if we're saying I don't trust the FICWatt because it's a brand that I don't know, why would I trust Team Group instead, you know?
Yeah, based off of... I mean, my first comment would be the fact of because Tom's Hardware's actually reviewed it and they haven't reviewed the FICWatt.
Yeah, if it has a favourable review from somewhere like Tom's Hardware, that's a reputable
which
review.
Which is a starting point.
Yeah.
But also in the review, the write cache is just over 150 gigabytes, whereas the other one was 80.
Yeah, oh, there you go. So that's not as high as the Crucial, but that's still way high. That's almost double the FICWatt. And also, when you're talking about in the gigabytes, like having an additional 80 gigabytes, that's probably high enough that you'll be okay. If you're transferring like hundreds of gigabytes to it, it might cap out on cache. And, you know, but also if you're doing that much of a transfer, at that point you should be buying higher tier SSDs anyway. £8 difference, you go Crucial. Yeah, I mean, but bearing in mind, at this point, I'm basically... well, that much being said, we're under budget already. I had budgeted 80 quid for the SSD. I just put in 80 quid and was like, it should be cheaper than that, but let's put in 80 quid just in case. So by that argument, we're doing okay, because basically... You say sort of, oh, it's only another 8 quid. And again, if you're building your own PC, that's a no-brainer. But for me, that's basically £8 of margin that I'm giving up. I'm now going to make another £10 less on the computer.
Based off of SSD testers' results, which is where we were getting the answer from.
Yeah.
For the FICWatt's PSLC cache, they measure it to 50 as opposed to 80.
Oh, interesting.
So they measure it as much larger. Therefore, whatever their testing methodology is was incredibly flattering to the FICWatt.
Yeah.
Because this is double what Tom's Hardware got functionally. Yeah. So it's a case of, if we assume that scaling, then the FICWatt's actually is 40.
Yeah.
Which then means that you install a single game and you're out of cache and it's garbage collecting, and now you're installing a game server and a hard drive.
Yeah. Yeah. And so yeah, that's a shame. The prices on it the prices on the FICWatt look great, but I think it's basically a budget SSD, and I have sworn myself off of budget SSDs. You know, like the Crucial BXs, like the Western Digital Greens. I've seen them in action. They're bad. You know, they just don't stand up under pressure. So yeah, They do work. They absolutely work. But it's very easy to overwhelm them, and that sucks to live with, because I have lived with it. You know, I've watched SSDs in my PC at home run out of cache, and your transfer rate goes down to 100 megs per second, and it's awful. And after seeing that happen on my home PC, I'm like, I'm not using these SSDs anymore because they're just painful. And yeah.
Oops.
Quentin says, you're mistaken about going to higher tier SSDs. Consider restoring from a backup to a blank drive, as you often do. What's your point? Like, if you're doing a complete write cycle to an SSD, like you're going to restore, say, 600 gigs to a 1 terabyte SSD, then yeah, obviously you're never going to have enough cache. But like, that's not a fight you can win, though. Like at that, we're asking for reasonable, not everything, you know. Thick what worked fine. You had 2 high ones, M.2, perfect. Yeah. I mean, I tell you what. I'll buy one of the thick watts, and I'll buy a team group. I'll put the team group in this one. I'll put the team group in the customer's PC, and I'll put the thick watt in. I'll put the thick watt in the X1000, which is the data transfer PC. Because at that point it will have more than enough time to get put through its paces, and I will actually savage it and see if it holds up. Thick watt sounds like a gamer slang. It's not a flattering name for an SSD, not gonna lie. So yeah, let's buy one of each. Make a short with the thick watt. I'll do that, yeah. Like it's gonna. I'll need some time to test it, because that's the thing. Time will tell. I'll take it out the box and write like 400 gigs of data to it, and it'll be fine because it's empty. However, once it's not empty anymore and it's had a couple of write cycles put through it, that's when you really find out what it's made of. So yeah. Yep, I'll take one of the team groups and one of the thick watts. Yeah. I think
the team group appears to also be fractionally better than the Crucial P3 as well.
Okay. I'm kind of tempted to say I'll take 2 of the team groups, because so I've got one in stock as well. Because like one terabyte M.2s, I should be carrying these in stock.
Fractionally better.
Yeah. However, I don't want to buy a bunch of them, because I've got a lot of money flying out the door for stock this week. So I'm trying not to overstock. Right. Excite time. Motherboards, RAM, CPUs that I don't have.
And it looks like, at least based off a part picker, the Amazon's the cheapest for the MP33.
Yeah, to be honest, like I'm even if Amazon was £5 more expensive than somewhere else, I'd still be buying from them, just because it's zero fuss, and that's worth a lot to me. Oh, unless it's not on Prime. 3 left in stock, 2nd to 3rd of May. Oh yeah, that's after the weekend. That's all right.
Yeah, and then the price goes up a lot, which is interesting.
Weird.
Yes, these people have just got some cheap ones.
Cool. Only 3 in stock. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, was the P3 Plus weirdly expensive on Amazon at the moment?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I'll have 2 of those and one of the thick watts. Decision made. What are you
Specifications for this product: lithium battery energy content 2 kilowatt hours.
I see. They really do have some nonsense in
lithium battery weight 2 grams, 2 kilowatt hour, 2 gram battery
in an SSD.
Yeah. Well, no, it was more of a fact of I clicked on the 1 terabyte one, but it doesn't say it's 1 terabyte in the name, and it says the digital storage capacity is 128 gig.
That
was my concern. But if you scroll down, it does explicitly say the size is 1 terabyte here.
Yeah. Just scroll up to the picture again.
But it says the storage capacity here is 128 gig.
Yeah, just scroll up to the picture again.
And then the picture doesn't have a capacity on it. But it has got the full model number.
What does the model number say?
Yeah,
TM. If that model number is the 1 terabyte one, then that's good enough for me.
600.
Because like those tech specs are obviously nonsense. However, if the picture says it's that, then that's enough for me to like. If that's enough for me to go like, if it turns out to not be correct when it arrives, I can be like, well, that's not what the picture was, and to me, that's enough grounds to return it on.
Yeah, the Team Group website brings up the 1 terabyte version.
Yeah, that's good enough. It's going to be the 1 terabyte. It's just a really garbage listing. Yep. 2 of those and a thick watt. Get it done. So 2 of those, the thick watt, and that one CPU cooler. Crackling noises. Haha! Right, I've got a Gigabyte X670 Gaming XAX. I'm looking forward to AM5 becoming commonplace because this is a mid-range motherboard. This is like, you know, I picked this one up on Amazon Warehouse for 160 quid. That's a really good looking board for 160 quid, I think. It's got bare loads of USB on the back. It's got Wi-Fi 6. It's got lots of metalwork on it, which looks cool. And yeah, I'm really sad that I don't have a CPU to put in this right now. But I'm going to put it in this PC so we can start it getting assembled. Yeah, that looks good. I'm content. Oh.
Are you paying with this card?
Yeah. You know what? Yes, because that's the one that I've been using for like the past week. However, I was adjusting my cards on my PayPal account earlier on, and I was like, right, I need to remember what my card numbers end in so I know which card is which. And I'm like, I have no idea what card that is. Actually, on that note, oh, it's that one. Yeah, sure, that's fine. Yeah, that's not the card that I thought it was. However, for a horrible moment, I was like, oh no, is that my old debt consolidation credit card that I've been piling Amazon orders onto? That would be awful, because it meant that I would have put like $2,000 onto that in the past month or so. However, it's not, it's fine. So I'm like, why is that even on the Amazon account? That's a card that I buried so it wouldn't be used. Not literally buried, but yes, that is fine. You may click the buy now button. All right. God. I really hate that we're having to do this much, like, what the hell? I really hate that we're having to do like this much digging just to figure out what to buy. It's kind of frustrating. I wish SSDs would stop being crappy and just, you could just buy a 1 terabyte SSD and have faith that it wouldn't be garbo. But the annoying thing is that if you get a bad SSD, you don't just get mediocre experience, you get a bad experience. I don't mind stuff that's average, but because I know that the bad experience is so terrible, I'm really pained to risk it. And also, I kind of want to know. I also want to know that, like, if we look at these reviews and we judge SSDs based on the cache size and stuff like that, does that end up being a good judge of character? Like, if we test the FICWAT and it turns out to be bad, we can look at that and be like, yeah, it's because the cache is rubbish, like the reviews said. And that means that we actually know how to judge an SSD at this point. Because I'll level with you, I'm not really sure what a good SSD looks like right now, because anything that you would use to gauge it, like, is it using good NAND? Is it using a good controller? Well, they're all interchangeable, so we don't know. Like, that's kind of the problem here. So, yeah, that's kind of the source of my frustration with this topic, is that it's really difficult to actually judge something. So, yeah, I'm actually kind of interested to put this FICWAT to the test and find out if it's any good. Like, maybe it'll turn out to surprise me, and I'll be like, yeah, you know what, Mike, you were right. It's a great value SSD, and I should have bought a bunch of them while they were on the Lightning deal. But also, you know, signs point to no, to be brutally honest, you know. So, we'll find out.
Yeah. The other... Oh. Question will be obviously just a fact of if it's still cheap on, you know, like AliExpress, you can just buy them
that's
off of
true,
AliExpress.
Yeah.
You don't need to wait for the Lightning deals.
Yeah, because that's the thing with AliExpress is that, yeah, you can get some bargains on AliExpress if you know what to buy. Oof. That gives very different specification. Oh, that's the FN 955.
Yeah, these are all. There are a whole load of different drives.
Yeah.
So it was just a case of I picked a random one and clicked on it.
Yeah. Have they got which model was the drive that we just bought?
I don't friggin' know.
Well,
that requires knowing what on earth's going on.
Faster, Caradog, faster. The people demand to know. They don't. We don't even have the chat visible right now, but you know.
FN
501 Pro. Yeah. So
cool.
How much is that on AliExpress then?
Oh.
I demand answers. If we don't figure this out, then who will?
So help me if that's the actual price.
£20 on AliExpress.
No, it isn't, but it was just a case where I was like, so help me if that's the real price.
Okay, they don't have it.
You'll cry.
How much is the 512? Okay, yeah, and the 1 terabyte. The list price is the list price for the 1 terabyte is £56 out of stock.
Yeah.
With the 2 terabyte going for 105. Yeah. Interesting. And also
Pad X95 Pro Tab.
I love Pro Tabs.
This is my Pro Tab.
All right.
This is my Pova 5 Pro.
Right, I was going to say, before you fall down the AliExpress rabbit hole, we should make the chat visible so we can back read the chat again. Cache is much less of a worry in new SSDs. Yeah, well, that's the thing then, JD. What spec would you be looking at in an SSD? This is the thing, you know, like people say sort of, oh, don't worry about this, don't worry about that. Well, what do I worry about then? How do we judge a good SSD?
Would you like a 100% new original Giraffis card?
Is it? Oh God, it actually says Giraffis. Yeah.
Grafis.
Graphics. See this? Graphics.
Oh dear. 100% quality.
What even is that?
I don't know.
It looks like a 12-volt power supply or something.
It came up in the it came up in the results for the SSD, and I was just like, what? Manufacture only the best consumer goods and ensure the highest quality possible. Okay, that's written in English. I'm impressed. Oh look, it's even got a generic white man.
What is this stream?
I don't know. It's your content.
It's in my name.
Good partner choice.
I am technically responsible for this content.
Yes. It beats the other recommendations for see-through pants. It's true.
JD says, I just overpay for the stuff that everyone knows about. Well, yeah, that's reasonable, but doesn't answer the question, you know. Because that's the thing. Like, it's easy to just throw money at the problem and end up with something that will be good. But if you're in the business and you're trying to min-max your costs in order to actually, you know, like make decent profit, then you got to min-max this stuff. So yeah.
Graphics.
Oh yeah, these DDR5 Corsair Vengeance mod. Bloody hell! Let me just try all of that again. Look, we're both low energy today. Don't pretend you're not. These DDR5 Corsair Vengeance modules do indeed look very nice. We were having this conversation just before stream.
Yeah.
Good. Because people are going to ask, it's a 6,000 mega transfer per second CL36 32GB kit that I'm going to put in here. The timings are probably nothing to write home about, but it will be fine, basically. So yeah. Let's see. I think you can rule stuff out that's bad spec. You can't rule on stuff though that's good spec, and it may still be poo. Maybe. Yeah, like sometimes I feel like with certain items, the only way is to buy one, trial it, and find out. And you know, I don't know. Like, yeah, different people have different opinions, and people have different needs. So, yeah, I don't know. Kurt Dorr says CL36 ... DDR5, yeah.
Good luck getting 6,000 working on DDR4.
Yeah. Or more to the point, yeah, there's this is AM5, and I hear good luck getting much past 6,000 working on AM5.
Yeah, you're looking for like 6,000, 6,200.
Yeah.
You'll want to make sure you BIOS update this.
Very well. Won't be able to do anything because we don't have a CPU for it. But what the hell happened here? Someone put the backplate on the wrong way around. I've just noticed. Or the mounting hardware.
Oh, I see.
It is an Amazon warehouse return.
I was looking at it and I was like, how did they put the backplate on the wrong way round?
Yeah, not so much the backplate, but the hold down bracket.
The backplate's mounted to the motherboard.
Yeah. Oh, that much being said, yeah, I should actually pull the mounting hardware for the AIO off of the old board, which I put where? I put there. This is something that I can continue to do. All right.
Graphics.
You going for food? Have fun with backwards parts. Fair enough. Isn't CL30 the preferred CL? Do you mind?
Not overly.
Quentin, by all means, if you can find some CL30 DDR5, I'll be very impressed.
I don't know. Let's have a look and see what the bins are that actually exist. Ha!
You can buy 5333 sticks of DDR4. Yeah, DDR4 though is mega optimized, so it do go burr.
Oh yeah. What speeds are these though?
Oh, you're looking at CL30. Oh yeah, it does exist, yeah.
What's this? Yeah, 30, 36, 36, 76.
Oh yeah, no, fair play. It does exist, yeah.
Yeah, 2 by 16.
Yeah, that's also really well priced.
Reasonably, yeah.
Yeah.
Team Group's cheaper for the same.
Yeah, like I think I paid about 100 quid for this kit, so yeah, that makes me sad. Where's that actually available to buy, though?
I don't know.
Oh,
Amazon?
Amazon. How did I not spot that?
I don't know.
I was on Amazon like the other night.
I don't know.
I didn't see that there.
Oh, there you
Otherwise
go.
I'd have bought it. Oh, no, 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 no.
Yeah, no, there you go. That's what you wanted. Just got Flare X5s.
How did I not... Oh, whatever. Okay, yeah, all right. I suck. I had a look down, I scanned down the Amazon list, and I did not spot those there. Otherwise, I would have gone for that. Well, yeah, I would have gone for that. That's odd. Oh well.
Where's the sort? There's the sort.
Yeah, I blame Amazon search.
Yeah, £110 is the cheapest.
Yeah, Amazon search is just, I swear it's getting worse. Because just, yeah, I search for stuff and good things just don't come up. And things like this happen.
I'm sorry, what? There's a timing bin that's 30, 38, 38, 30. Excuse me?
Yes.
The what? Why do you... How? No. I refuse.
What's this claim to be? Yeah.
38, 30, 38, 38, 30.
Yeah, that's like...
Exactly. JD's
Yeah.
just like, no.
That's like a third of what it should be for context.
What?
All right, yeah, that's bummer. Okay, I bought crap RAM. I mean, well, it's not crap, it's fine. However, I could have bought better RAM. I'm sad about that.
Oh, Mushkin have those timings on their own website.
Oh, interesting. That's
They
obviously
say
where
their
they're getting...
TRAS is a 30.
Yeah.
No, it isn't.
Interesting.
Yeah, whereas their other kits are like 34, 45, 45, 108.
Someone has made a mistake there.
They're on multiple pages of their website. And someone's just copied and pasted that and believed it.
Yeah, and it's ended up going all the way through to the actual Amazon listing.
Yeah. I'd believe like 96.
Okay.
Yeah.
Rearranging all the wires in this PC.
Yes. That's not terrible.
Don't get RAM that isn't Expo for AM5. Oh yeah, it is Expo RAM I bought. Yep, I did know to look for Expo.
Although, it's neither here nor there, arguably.
It helps though.
Yeah.
It just means that you're guaranteed to not. It's guaranteed compatibility.
I think Expo also is a larger storage area on the chip, so it actually has more timing saved in it. Because as far as I'm aware, XMP only sets the primaries, and the primaries the data rate and the voltage.
Oh God.
SPD, that's the word.
This is one of those motherboards where each one of the connectors is just 180 degrees from the previous motherboard that was in the case. So every single cable I'm going to plug in, the plug needs to turn 180 degrees, and all of the cables are trained the other way around. So just everything is being slightly awkward as I connect it up.
Yeah, so I think Expo can set some of like the secondaries and stuff.
Yeah, that's good then. But yeah, also as said, because of AM5 having a bit of a reputation for long RAM training and stuff like that, it also just means you're probably going to have less of a painful experience with RAM training. Potentially.
Yeah.
Cool.
The timing certainly gets tidied up on the newer BIOSes. It's less painful.
Yeah.
What are you selling in this? Is it going to be the 3080 Ti?
Going to put the 3080 Ti in it.
Yeah.
Yep. Got 7800X3D going in there. 32 gigs of RAM. 3080 Ti. The EK cooler on top of it. This PC is going up to high spec by modern standards now, and it will be priced as such, which means I can actually put it on sale, put a big price tag on it, and say this is a kick-ass gaming PC.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh no, absolutely. First boot is first boot, but it's just a case of the repeat boots after that.
Yeah, and also just
much better. It is much better.
Yeah.
Just sort of experience.
And also just like now and then, custom PCs throw a wobbly and have to RAM train again. And what you don't want is to sell a PC where if it has to RAM train, it needs to be left for like 10 minutes on a black screen and no post.
Oh yeah, it's like 45 seconds.
Oh yeah. Obviously, I'm I'm exaggerating, but that's what we're trying to avoid, is the instance where your customer experience is you having to tell them, oh, just leave it for 10 minutes to RAM train, it'll be fine. And they're like, huh? Ideally, you want it to be under a minute, like normal RAM training should be, so it's much more likely that it will actually resolve itself instead of the customer actually thinking that something is broken.
Yeah.
Which is the reality of the situation.
Yeah, it's not exactly. It is an HEDT where you are waiting 10 minutes. Hello, yes, I'd like to initialize a terabyte of RAM.
Yes. Okay. Oh no, I've got a Just thinking. I've got dual 8-pin braided extensions in here, and I might pull those out and put them in the customer's PC, because for the 3080 Ti I've got a custom braided extension cable for it, so that's going to go in here. So that means that the customer will actually get braided extensions, which will be a nice little extra touch to add to it, because braided extensions look really nice. It's really cool when you can put those into someone's PC without, again, just blowing up the cost of it.
Yeah.
So we'll pull those out.
Something I didn't realise is the Corsair 12-volt HPR adapter cable is compatible with the 30 series as well.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Does it physically fit?
Yeah.
Oh.
Because that is the 12-volt high power connector.
Yeah.
It's just not got the sense pins on top.
Oh, I see. So do the sense pins just push over the top of the connector, if you see what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, fair enough. Yeah. That's a nice touch for people who are still running 30 series cards, or, well, Founders Edition cards anyway, because I think the Founders Edition were the only 30 series with 12-volt high power, weren't they? Everyone else just used the 8-pin.
Probably. I can't remember.
Yeah. I do still love this card. It is just a really slick graphics card, just long and thin, but my God, they should have put the 3090 cooler on it, because it's a loud boy.
Yeah.
That's my only beef with this card. Sag.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mike says they don't fit.
Oh, well, my one does.
His one does. Your mileage may vary.
New 12-volt high power won't fit the Founders 3060 Ti or 3070. Did the Founders 3060 have the 12-volt one?
I thought all the Founders editions had the 12-volt HP connector, just as because they were trying to standardise it.
Yeah, I didn't realise the 3060 one did as well, but yeah.
Yeah.
It certainly fits on your one.
Oh yeah, because you ran this card briefly, didn't you? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that is libent. That's why it won't go in. Also, I should stop putting in this graphics card and finish fitting the cooler mounting hardware, but this is where we are now. I'm just doing what's in front of me just to keep going right now. That and that. Whoop.
See,
yeah.
I'm going to get myself another drink.
Do it, I dare you.
Do you want anything?
I'm good. I'm only halfway through this cider. I should drink more.
Fair enough.
You switch to AMD just because of that connector? You don't want the chance of it even having a hint of catching fire? That's a reasonable concern to have. I think it's fine. You've just got to make sure it's actually in properly. And quite frankly, that seems obvious, but take it from me, who's seen a lot of computers and watched a lot of people trying to build computers. It is amazing how often people just don't put stuff in properly. Where you'll look at something and it's just not in. You'll be like, well, I guess you thought it was in, but like it goes further, dude. There's still a gap around there. It's not in, you know. People will just not do that properly. Now, I think you can criticize the 12-volt high power connector for not being user-friendly. It's something that should be idiot-proof. It should not be possible to not put it in properly. That is a valid criticism. But I trust the 12-volt high power connector because I trust myself to plug in the cable properly. But I don't trust random people to plug in cables properly because I've seen too many cases where they haven't. So that's kind of my opinion of it. I don't think it's a good connector because it's possible to not put it in properly. However, I trust myself to plug it in properly.
Yeah.
Cool, doing a long stream today. I don't know, are we? What's the timer on? I haven't been paying attention. Oh yeah, we're coming up to 3 hours. Yeah, no, I'm going to finish doing what I can with this, and then we're going to wrap up. I think we're aiming for the 3 hour marker today, which is about standard. That's more to do with the clip not 100% attaching. Then it works loose over time due to movement vibration. Well, this is the thing. The actual total number of failures wasn't actually very high. The issue is that the penalty for failure is fire. You know, it's also particularly unfortunate that that like Cable Mod had so much issues with their adapter, which was supposed to fix the problem as well. You know, I don't know. Okay, right. What mounting hardware do I actually need? I just need these. Those fit over there. All right.
It is not milk.
Oh, you just make people guess.
Oh, no. So, someone's, I just saw, what does Carol drink? Milk. And I went, no, it's not milk. It's just an oat drink.
I see. Do you like pina colada? Sorry. Getting caught in the rain. If you're not into yoga, I don't know the next line.
Oh, I thought you were going to say you'll have lots of back pain.
That would have been a funny response. Okay, right, that's there. That can hover over there. Oh, what idiot cable tidied this case? Everything is tied back tightly.
Oat, you say? I need more info. Yeah, it's just oat, not milk replacement, effectively.
It's oat milk, are the words you're looking for.
No, because it's not milk.
Okay, but it's intended to be an equivalent of milk.
Sure. It's an oat milk equivalent, but it's not an equivalent to oat milk.
Is oat milk a separate thing to what this is?
No, but it's not milk. Oat milk is not milk. It doesn't come from a mammal.
So is soy milk invalid?
Yes, it's not milk. We're
Okay.
not there milking little soys. Soy, 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 soy.
What about coconut milk?
My helicopter goes soy, soy, soy.
Is coconut milk also not milk?
Yeah.
All right, Caradog's got beef with the free from industry.
Only because of their terrible naming. Their concept is entirely correct.
I see.
And oat doesn't have teats, Graham. Exactly.
I don't know. Have
Also,
you
it
ever
makes-
seen an oat?
Also, it makes really good lattes. Soy.
Welcome to Low Energy Stream, everyone. Where we just argue incessantly about SSDs and then talk about oat milk. I need another screw for this motherboard. Oh.
Very well.
And I'm going to have to get... Oh, I think this one was Imperial.
Oat lattes are amazing. See? JD gets something right.
I don't think I've tried an oat latte. An oat latte? An oat latte. I would try it out because I don't like lattes. There's just too much milk there, man. Yeah, but I have a suspicion that if I tried a milk alternative one, I would find it less heavy.
I also just really like the taste of this oat milk alternative.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, like one of my summertime guilty pleasures is those Arctic ice coffee latte, caramel latte drinks that you can buy.
Which are also like 40% sugar, I'm sure.
That's probably why I like them then.
Sugar. Is this a sold PC as well?
No, this is not sold yet. However,
It will be.
Well, this is spec'd to sell now because this has been in a horrible. The Liami has been in a horrible land for the past 1 or 2 years, where the spec has been entirely valid. It's been a good computer, but it doesn't make sense for any price tag I could put on it. It is worth less than the sum of its parts, basically, because it's had an oddball spec. Like, it's had a 2070 Super in it. Like, for ages, it was a 5800X, a 2070 Super, and like a $300 all-in-one water cooler kind of thing. And I'm like, if I actually put a price tag on this, you're going to end up with like a £1,500 computer, and like I wouldn't recommend spending £1,500 on a computer with a 2070 Super in it, in this day and age. So it's been in a horrible no man's land, and then because I sold the 5800X that was in it, it dropped down to a 3800X, which was more in line with the 2070 Super, but it was still in an expensive case with a very expensive cooler. And so I'm like, I can't. Do I just write off the cost of the cooler at this point? Because it's one that I bought with Amazon vouchers anyway, so the cooler was free. So I wouldn't lose money on it. It just seems daft to just sell that cooler for nothing, considering its value. But whereas now, with a 7800X 3D in it and a 3080 Ti, it's actually high spec by modern standards, because the 3080 Ti is still a stonking good graphics card. And also it's going to look slick as hell, and so I can put that out there. We need to price this up, which we could do now if you fancy doing some calculating for me. How much do we sell this for? That's going to be the question. What would be the
£75.
30p, says Sai.
To eBay.
Yeah, because the 3080 Ti is plummeting in value, I think. I need to get this thing sold because
You okay?
Sometimes. Yeah, because I think the 3080...
I thought you just put a massive dent in the cooler.
No. Yeah, the 3080 Ti is plummeting in value, I think, because like the 4080 Super is sub £1,000 now. You can get 4080 Supers for 950 quid.
Yeah, which is £10, which is like 50 quid off of MSRP.
Yeah, and so but when that exists, it's kind of a case of like, you know, the 4080 Super is a devastatingly fast graphics card.
Would you like your graphics card to look like a slab?
Yes.
That's very slabby. Na 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 na. Sold. Ending recently.
Oh yeah, 485.
Yeah,
469.
Yeah, there you go. 525 quid, basically.
505. Yeah. So if you're buying on eBay, that's 400 quid. Someone got a bargain there.
It's faulty.
Oh, okay, yeah.
See, it says.
Oh yeah, read description. Yeah,
it's faulty.
Yeah.
Why is this crossed through?
Because best offer was accepted.
I see.
It was offered at 550. Someone probably paid 500 for that. I'd say 500 quid is the going rate for one at the moment.
Yeah.
Basically. I think 500 and 500 pounds sounds reasonable because the last time I checked, they were worth about 600, and they are dropping in price. So, yeah, if someone rocked up and said, "I'll give you 500 quid for that graphics card," I would take the money.
Three, two, two, three. Yeah, 300.
Gonna have to get those from the back. Let's just do that for now.
8. How much do you say you spent on the motherboard?
£160.
1,000. How much was the RAM? 100?
If you bring up Google Sheets, I was going to say I have a spreadsheet for doing this now, so I can actually save these numbers and not immediately forget them. Whoop. Plug that in there. Plug that in there.
In round numbers, you're talking approximately 1,600.
Total like cost price value.
Total price as new parts.
Ugh.
Basically is about 1,600.
Ugh, that's a bit higher than I was expecting.
Well, just because the water cooler was £200.
Oh yeah. Oh, I'm not selling.
No. But that's what I'm saying. Price as new parts. The water cooler was £200. The case is a £200 case, isn't it? So obviously, but
bring up the spreadsheet though, because we need to come up with an actual realistic sale price.
But in real terms, you instantly take £200 off of that. So yeah.
Yeah. Hello, Moito. How's it going? All right.
Build parts.
Yes.
Build parts.
This spreadsheet needs tidying up a lot, but if you basically just duplicate one of these and then duplicate it and then rename that to Lianli 24, as in Lianli 2024.
How many times have we tried to sell this?
I know.
Several.
Yeah, this spreadsheet is nonsense because I've just not been selling stuff, but yeah. So I'm now re-speccing. Take 2. Stop it. Caradog is doing crimes to my spreadsheet. Did you just run out of characters?
Yeah.
Today I learned.
Line call 2, 2024, take 2. This is getting out of hand now. There are 2 of them.
CPU 7800X3D. Cool. So cost price on that was 260 quid, wasn't it?
Really?
Yeah. Or was it 270?
Ah, good. You did better than the eBay price then.
Yeah, that's why we bought it on AliExpress, because it was cheap.
Yeah, but the second-hand eBay price is higher than that. And I was like, that's good going then, that you're buying it,
interesting,
quote-unquote, new, cheaper than the second-hand eBay price was.
Possible import, well, if you can be asked, possible import thing going on there.
Stuff.
Yeah. Whatever. The point is you could buy it and sell it at a profit.
What is this? X470?
X670.
Sorry, X670.
Yep. Gaming X AX.
Whoops. Gaming X AX.
Yeah.
160?
160, yeah. GPU, so that's a RTX 3080 Ti FE.
RTX 3080 FE.
Graham, have a better CPU to lob in there. I mean, the 7800X3D is the fastest gaming CPU on the planet right now. All-round gaming CPU on the planet right now.
32 gigabyte Vengeance 6,000. That was £100.
Something like that. If you actually you've got Amazon open, just check what I actually paid for it because I bought that like yesterday. Da, da, da. And bless you.
There you go.
£101 I paid for that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh no, yeah, the 3800X that we were talking about earlier on, that's going into a customer PC, which is not going into this one. Yeah, this is a different build. Have you seen any of the Intel stability issues lately, Graham? I'm not aware they were having any. I've not dealt much with Intel stuff recently because Intel just doesn't make sense right now.
They appear to be having massive VF curve issues.
Intel are not okay. We've been saying this for months.
Yeah.
Intel are not okay. That, you know, they are remaining competitive by pumping in all of the watts. Basically, that's the only way that they're keeping up, by using twice the power of an AMD CPU. So they can go fast. They absolutely can go fast, but you will get the same or 95% of the power from an AMD CPU at about half of the power level. So, yeah. Okay. SSD is the team group at 60. Yep. The power supply, yeah, this is 750. This is an EVGA 750 G3. Yeah, so it's not a supernova. It's a G. Is it a supernova? Oh no, it is a supernova. Yeah, it is a supernova. I was going to say I don't want to call it a supernova if it's not actually.
Split the difference and call it 60 quid.
What's the list price
60.
I've got in that spreadsheet right now? 76. That's probably what I paid for it.
Yeah.
But is that still realistic?
Upper bounds, I would guess.
Yeah, call it 75, just as a round number. Then in that case, we'll just round that down. Calling EK Elite. So so the AIO. I've got that in at 150 quid for a cooler that was originally like £200 new. I think we should put that in at £100, just to get the cost of the PC down. I don't make a loss from that. I just don't want to put it in for free.
What size
per se.
is it? Is it 280 mil?
360.
Oh, 360
Yeah.
millimeter AIO. For 150 quid, you're getting the H150i without RGB.
Well, I mean, in terms of value for money, you can buy a
220.
Liquid Freezer 3 for 75 quid. So
Yeah, but it doesn't have.
that's not a price that we get. That's not really a fight we'll win.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying I don't think 150 is unreasonable.
Okay, yeah.
Is more my point.
I see, yeah.
Yeah, because 150 quid from Corsair for comparable RGB-ness
Yeah.
doesn't get you RGB.
Yeah, because
You're talking 220 to get the comparable RGB.
Yeah, 'cause
so
that's-
150 for it.
that is a disadvantage of the Liquid Freezer 3, is Arctic's RGB sucks. And the Liquid Freezer 3's RGB, it's very pretty. It's got a lovely watercolor grading to it, but it won't match the rest of your RGB, which kind of sucks. It is not color matched, which is kind of sucky.
Oh, did I write 16 gigs of RAM by accident?
But it's EK, and now we know that means it's worth 10% of purchase value. No, JD, if EK go bust, then everyone will mourn the loss of EK, and it'll be worth £1 million, like an EVGA thing.
Yeah, no.
Are EK beloved?
There you go.
Cool. All right. So we're calling our build cost 1,400. Well, 1,395. So 1,400 quid for simplicity. So I was going to say if I put in £1,500, that sounds reasonable. That's the kind of number that I had in my head for this PC. £1,500. That sounds like a good buy to me. Yeah, I think this PC with its spec for 1,500 quid, I think that's a pretty good buy. You are not going to buy something from somewhere else at a better price than that. $14.99. I don't play that game. It's 1,500. Basically, I have a policy against the whole 99p thing. I know it works and I know it's blah blah blah, but it annoys me, and I have a policy against it. So yeah. EK is what? PC. EK Water Blocks. EK is a brand of water cooling, and EK are currently mired in a massive scandal right now. Hence the jabs. Graham hates money. I do. It's true. Seems like a terrible margin. Well, it's not. Yeah, I'm making £100 on it, but the objective is to get the old hardware sold. Like the motherboard and the CPU and the RAM are brand new and worth more, but I want to sell the case, the cooler, and the graphics card. That's the actual objective here, is to get rid of the case, the cooler, and the graphics card, because both of them have been hanging around for too long and I want them gone. So I'll happily make a very poor margin on the rest of it in order to get rid of the older hardware that I want sold. Because once I've sold that, I can just fill up my demo bench with all new stuff. So yeah. Yeah.
At no point did you say it needed to be useful, Chris.
Well, I'd say that's actually quite useful, really. Yeah, that's it, yeah.
Oh yeah, but there's really random spacing in some of it.
Oh yeah, fair enough.
That's what I meant.
FE32GB. What the hell is an FE32GB? Apparently it's here with vengeance. Fair enough. All right. I don't need access to the... So the only thing this is missing now is a CPU. Yeah, the only thing this is missing now is a CPU. I'll put the back panels on and put this back together again. And we're basically about as done as we can be today because I'm missing parts.
No! I accidentally closed the window and then reopened it.
Control-Shift-T, Control-Shift-T.
Yeah. But it was just the fact I closed it and I was like, oh no!
I see.
I did myself
I'm going to lay this down instead of fumbling with it.
Put that thing back where it came from, so help me.
Bam, bam, bam. So help me, so help me, so help me.
And scene.
I had to explain that joke to someone the other day. And I was just like, okay, so, you know Monsters, Inc.? Have you seen that? Have you seen Monsters, Inc.? And they're like, no. I'm like, okay. So there's a scene in Monsters, Inc. The joke was not funny by the time I had explained it.
Yes.
Right. Okay, that's that done. So many fingerprints on this water block. But also, like, I need to take it all off again anyway, so there's no point in polishing it now.
Certainly not live on stream.
Alright, I'm going to put the back panels on this and close it up. Oh, we've just hit the 3-hour marker. Yeah, alright. About ready to go. Alright, any more in chat? Because otherwise I think we're wrapping up, aren't we?
No, just, Chris being in chat, so it's time to leave.
Oh no. We're leaving. There will be an after party, but we won't tell Chris where it is. There's no after party. The after party is at the Chinese, where I get my food tonight. I'm really into orange chicken at the moment.
Okay.
Just saying, like, I've been aware of orange chicken as a thing you can get from the Chinese for a while, and I tried it on a recommendation because I was like, I don't know what I fancy having, and someone was just like, get chicken in orange. I was like, you know what, I'll try it. And man, it's really good. Does your Chinese do good munchie boxes? I don't think we have munchie boxes in England. I mean, we might in the north, which is arguably not England. But, yeah, I don't think they have them around here. Plus, also, that would just be too much food. I would not be able to finish that. Right, am I missing... I feel like I'm missing another cover plate there. No, I'm not. That all needs to shove up, though. Push all of those in there. The big disadvantage of this EK cooler is just the RGB controller on the back of it.
So many wires!
This boy here has so many wires going into it. We have 6 fans, 6 RGB connectors, a 7th RGB connector for the water block, power, and 2 control signals. So that is 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 wires going to this hub for the EK system. But it's all the fans and all of the RGB in one box. It is nightmarish to cable tidy. Right.
I misread the USB-C label and thought it said it was 22 gig.
That would be quite a trick.
22?
22 gigabytes.
Yes, this is absolutely a complete computer. You can buy this knowing it will definitely work.
Well, ironically, I can probably... I can put it on the desk and turn it on and just... Can I put that... There we go. I'll put that... There we go. That looks kind of cool. I can put it on the demo bench and I can power it on and it can just sit on a no post, which will just mean that it's on and the lights are on. So theoretically, I can put it out and just put out the price tag and everything with no CPU in it.
Yeah.
And if someone actually turns up and says, I actually want to buy that, I could be like, okay, cool, I'm still waiting on the CPU. But it means that it's actually on show. So yeah.
Have you even checked if yours has been dispatched yet?
It says so. Check. I mean, could check it again, see if we've got any news. The tracking number on it is nonsense and doesn't seem to go anywhere.
Are you sure it's not just a China Post one?
I don't know. It doesn't tell me what it is.
Also, may I have all
yeah.
of your details ever?
Yeah.
I require you to type in a password. I require you to give me a 2FA code.
2FA.
I require you to give me your inside leg measurement.
I was going to say that this one's the scary one.
No, it's fine. I don't actually need your 2FA.
Oh. All right then.
Your account. My orders. Show land cow do ren brand store.
A shit ton of batteries. Oh, there it is.
There you go.
Yeah, so it says awaiting delivery. You fool. Track order.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, see, like, that tracking number, who is that with?
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I'm just going to double check.
Because they give you a tracking number. I Google searched, like, oh, you know, AliExpress tracking number. Apparently, if the tracking number starts with, what was that, LN or something like that, apparently,
May I have the keyboard?
No, you may not. Apparently, if the tracking number starts with LN, that's just very much a good luck kind of thing. It may or may not show up at some point.
It's fine. We go to ship 24
Oh,
and we search.
Do they know who all the tracking numbers are then?
There you go.
Oh, cool.
It's the tracking number from the Netherlands to the UK leg, effectively.
Fair enough. I'm going to lob this in the other PC while we're here.
Yeah. Apparently it was dispatched from the Netherlands.
Why is it taking 3 weeks to get here then?
probably because it was dispatched from China to the Netherlands.
Oh, I
then
see.
faffed in the Netherlands, and then it was a Netherlands dispatch.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, because I was like the Netherlands.
Which is why you have a post Nederland.
Post Nederland. Is that how they? I'm going to stop right there. I'm going to stop. All right. Well, so
apparently yesterday, it was received at the Post at NL Acceptance Centre.
So it's not even in the UK yet. That's a bit sucky.
Yeah, it was actually received in Amsterdam on Friday.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, at least it's in Europe. That's a good start. That means it's pretty close. So.
Oh, interesting. The inference is that the LS94 tracking number is a Royal Mail tracking number.
Yeah. See, I tried bashing that into Royal Mail, and they said no, we don't know what that is.
Interesting. Yeah, that's the inference from this.
But then I tracked it middle of the week, and it only
existed on Friday.
So it might be that it might be interesting to see if it appears on Royal Mail search now, because it might now appear on their system because it has hit Europe. So that's kind of just an interesting thing, just for,
Royal Mail website, you are denied access. Thank you, Royal Mail. The heck?
Yeah, that's kind of an interesting thing, just for me, because I'm starting.
There we go.
What we've had this conversation before, but what with choice shipping and cheap prices and stuff, it's becoming more and more attractive to just buy more stuff on AliExpress.
Yeah, it now exists.
Yes, that's good. Yeah. So it's in the Netherlands. It exists on Royal Mail system. I'm probably going to receive it this week in that case.
Yeah.
Which is, to be honest, that's about when we'd expect. This will be week 4 we're going into, and I've still received it within a month. Now, like if you had a customer waiting on this, that would suck. However, I don't have a customer waiting on this, and I got it cheap. So, yeah. What happened to didn't you get one for like £160 or something like that? What's the story with that? Is it still alive?
So, okay. So,
there's this CPU. It's a X3D, which is wild performance. I'm going to bring up chat while you sort stuff out.
I ordered, because I'm that kind of guy.
Yeah.
2 for £144.47.
So 144.47.
Yes.
Okay. See, it's not that I'm betting against you, but I really hope I hope you fail, and I hope you don't receive these, because they were £120 less than what I paid.
And
okay,
according to the tracking number, it is departing the processing center from Shanghai Li Kai Shanghai Chu Long Zhujin Yi Chou Ku Feng Fa.
Okay.
Yep, that's the name of the processing center, apparently.
Yeah. Muerto is expecting it to be a lasered Core 2 Duo, which would be really, really funny.
Right? But yes, it has been dispatched and has been received by China Post.
So they're sending you something.
Yep.
I swear, if you receive 2 7800X3Ds, I will be angry, but I'll also want to buy one from you.
Yeah, so by the way, I bought them for £300 each.
I'm not buying them for 300 quid each, because I could get them for 260 myself and actually receive them. Well, maybe. I can receive them to the Netherlands, we've established so far. I can have a 7800X3D posted to the Netherlands for £260. That's how far we've gotten. You know?
Yeah.
I should get on the blower to hell kit and be like, can you go to the Royal Mail tracking centre in your country and get my CPU and then post it to me, just so I know I'll get it.
Yeah, but if it's actually being received by Royal Mail, then that's fine.
Yeah. It looks like a sure thing at this point.
Yeah.
Although,
if they are QS or ES samples, yeah, I'll be super interested in that.
Yeah. Obviously, like, This is on the assumption that I actually get a working CPU, but at this point, we've no reason to believe that there will be any problems with those.
Yeah.
Oh wow, this power supply is a bit of a squeeze.
Yes. If these are a thing, would you like some exceedingly cheap 7800X 3D computers?
Maybe, because part of me is just like, well, we made this mistake with the 5800X and we had like 6 of them and it took forever to shift them all. But on the other hand, like the 5800X, the 7800X 3D, this is the king of gaming CPUs, and based on how well the 5800X 3D is aging, there's every reason to believe that it's going to be the go-to gaming CPU for the next couple of years at this point.
It's fine, I'll sell them to Moeto for only £299.
Yeah, so unironically, I'm kind of inclined to say, you know what, yeah, I will take some of those off you and I'll build 7800X 3D computers. Yeah. But also the problem is they're going to be tough to sell, because unless I sell them massively underpriced, but I could do, as long as I'm making a profit, who cares, right? You know.
Yeah.
The issue is that the kids who come into my shop, they want to spend £500 to £600 on a PC.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So that's why the Lianli is now priced to a sensible thing, but also it's not going to sell anytime soon, because when people come in and they go, oh, I want that one, I'm going to be like, yeah, that's £1,500, and the kid's dad is going to, no, cheaper, and be like, we got this one for £600. Yes. I'm like, okay, I'll try and sell it, but yeah, it's going to be tough. But at least it's actually sellable now, which is the important thing.
Passing the savings on to you.
Yeah.
I'm half expecting 9000 series launch, or the 9000 series to be announced at Computex.
Yeah, I take it we're skipping 8000 series.
Yeah, 8000 series
only?
is going to be the APUs only.
As long as there's consistency now, which there appears to be actually, yeah, because there was no 4000 series. 4000 series was APU only as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was the OEM stuff only.
Yeah, so we seem to be on a trend of odd numbers are performance desktop CPUs, which at least has some logic to it.
A special offer of £1,600, but you get a free year of Norton. And next year when you subscribe, I get 30% of what you pay.
There we go. Braided cables. They look pretty now. And you can't tell that I've daisy chained it. Right. Yeah. Interestingly, like all of the above, it's still easier than people buying from OEMs. Like the person who's bought this PC, they were in earlier on, and the dad had a spec list that he'd looked up on HP, and HP's website were selling him a 5600G with a 4060 and a 500 gig SSD for £900. And whereas obviously I'm selling a 3800X, which is going to be faster than a 5600G because massively more cache. Like that's the problem with the APUs; they've got no cache. 2070 Super, which is going to go toe to toe with a 4060, I think is reasonable. Oh
yes, I was like, sorry, a 3080 Ti going toe to toe with a 4060.
The 2070
Super. What are you on about?
This 2070 Super will go toe to toe with the 4060 quite happily. I haven't checked the exact thing, but I think that seems to be a reasonable estimate at least. 16 gigs of RAM, 1 terabyte SSD, £700. So it's £200 less, and it's going to be faster. And it's going to look better, and it's modular, which means it won't be full of proprietary nonsense that can't be upgraded. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I enjoy that conversation sometimes when you're just like, How? What? When? How did you get to that price and that specification?
Yes.
OEM, please.
Yeah, well, that's it. Just gaming PCs are expensive, and like this is the realization. Like I think it was a while back when we had this conversation where I said that I'd been looking at like, Cyber Power PC and PC Specialists and stuff, and I just assumed that they'd all be really competitive on pricing, but like they're not really. DIY custom building is still wildly cheaper than buying pre-built, and like obviously. That goes without saying because now you've got to put in the effort to source the parts and build it. But it just surprises me that with economy of scale, OEMs and system integrators aren't anywhere near DIY pricing.
Yeah, here, HP Victus 15L gaming desktop, £650, a Ryzen 5 5600G.
Yeah.
And then NVIDIA RTX 3050.
Yeah, and like the 3050, that's just a damp flannel. Yeah, it's a damp flannel. So like, yeah, the 900 quid for that other customer saw, that was basically that PC but with a 4060 in it. Although, 4060 for an extra £250 sounds like a hell of a hike, but I don't know.
I enjoy this. Or buy a GTX 1650 4 gig.
Yeah, but also just like looking at those towers, I'm like, yeah, those are a complete dead end for any upgrades. If you want to change anything in that, you're screwed.
Oh my god.
So like even with refurbished parts like this is still going to be a better buy.
The cheapest you can get something that isn't a 3050 is £900
for a 3060.
For a 3060 and a 5600G.
And 500 gigs of storage, which is nothing for a gaming PC. That'll disappear like that.
Oh, there you go. That's better value for money. 13400F.
Oh yeah.
And a 4068 gig with a terabyte
that's
of
more
storage
like
for
it.
900 quid.
Yeah, see, that's actually sane, and that's MSI. So yeah, because
That's not
MSI
terrible.
actually know what a gaming PC is.
That's not terrible. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Like,
actually reasonable. Like,
I would expect these to be a smidgen cheaper.
yeah.
Like if you
But
actually DIY'd them.
If a friend came
And
to you
a
and said,
smidgen
I bought that
better.
MSI, you'd be like, fair enough. You could have done better, but you haven't been robbed.
Yeah. Or you can buy literally the same computer from Acer, where they put glass over the front fan.
God, that looks
for
so
£1,000.
garbage, that PC. That looks trash.
Yeah. Literally the same computer, but £1,000 more.
Yeah.
And it's got glass over all of the intakes.
Yeah, it just looks cheap.
That's horrifying.
Yeah.
But hey, welcome to buying pre-builts, I guess.
Yeah. All right. Also, what the hell is going on with the live preview at the moment? Because the Liami is still on the desk on the live preview.
I don't know.
I'm
Apparently we're 3 hours behind. There we go.
Yeah. Okay, that's better.
I must have clicked pause or clicked on something
Fair
at some
enough,
point.
yeah. It's Acer, what do you expect? Yeah. Maybe. I don't know. I've seen some pre-built gaming PCs. I've seen some pre-built gaming laptops where I've been like, yeah, that's a really nice laptop,
Also,
They do exist.
How have we been live for 4 hours according to YouTube, but 3 hours 25 according to OBS?
Maybe that's why the preview was miles behind. I don't know. No one.
Oh, YouTube.
Yeah, I haven't seen anyone complain about the stream throwing a wobbly, but yeah, don't know.
Oh well. Anyway.
All right. Yeah, I've enjoyed this conversation in English.
This has been a ramble in
Yeah.
English. Is the VOD for last week's stream available now?
Yes, it is. Yes.
Cool.
There's no chat available on it, which is a pity, but yes, it did go back up. Yeah.
Excellent.
In case people are curious, I was super careful not to reveal customer data while I was streaming. However, at the end of the stream, when my brain switched off as I was reaching for stop streaming, I was closing everything down and my ticket list flashed up on the screen right as I was clicking stop streaming. So I had to nuke the VOD and trim it, which is unfortunate.
Oh, chat is just disconnected.
I see.
I broke it. We are no longer live. Goodbye.
Yeah. Oh well. Well, thanks for tuning in, everyone. It's a shame we didn't actually have a chance to turn any of these on. But yeah, it's kind of annoying that I didn't have the parts. But yeah, the rest of the parts are on the way. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. We'll see you next week with something else.
And Graham will see you tomorrow. Goodbye.
Yeah.